The time between doses still stands at up to 4 months to get more people first doses fast. This as Pfizer ramps up deliveries to Canada. 2 million doses a week starting this week.
She just said, it works so good with one shot. It works incredibly with this virus. End of the same sentence. End of the same sentence.
That arrived in Canada last week are still being held back over safety concerns at a U.S. production plant. The National Advisory Committee on Immunization will give an update on that vaccine this afternoon. I'm Jamie Pulfer. Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll check in with traffic and weather.
680 News Time, 9:50. It's the timed auction this weekend at NorthTorontoAuction.com. Dealers and pro subscribers have come to trust NorthTorontoAuction.com to buy and sell great used cars, trucks, equipment, recreational vehicles, and all sorts of must items for any budget. The auction closes at noon today. A pro subscription at North Toronto Auction gets year-round access to online public and timed auctions. And don't worry, North Toronto Auction has 72-hour buyback. NorthTorontoAuction.com. Some conditions apply.
So, how's your blood pressure? Pretty good. What if I said fixed or variable? 3 years or 5, 10, 25%, or maybe no down payment at all? Self-employed, bad credit, lots of consumer debt? So how's your pressure now? Yeah, pretty much what I thought. You want to make the most important financial decision of your life, and we want it, no matter what your finances are like. Northwood Mortgage, 416-969-8130, or visit us online at northwoodmortgage.com. License 10349.
680 News Time, 9:51.
Time for traffic and weather together on once. Here's Kyle Hawking.
This report brought to you by SICKLY. We've got just one delay on the eastbound 401. It's because of an issue that cleared east of Kipling and the collectors. Problems have been cleared off the highway, so there's still a bit of volume from Dix Kipling, but it's starting to move a little better. We've got on the eastbound and westbound 401 in the Mississauga area. Construction set up through Pure Ontario in the express. HOB lane blocked each way, but it's not impacting your speeds all that much. Another construction spot's on the eastbound Gardner ramp to Jarvis. It's Jarvis specifically that's closed, northbound Jarvis from Queens Quay up to the Esplanade. So if you're taking that eastbound ramp to Jarvis, at the end of it, no left turns to go north on Jarvis, and that's why it's backed up. Still from where it splits off of the Gardner down to where it meets Jarvis. It's a long ramp, and it's a long line on that ramp as well. I expect this volume to sort of be a mainstay during the mornings, especially with those turning restrictions in place for this water main repair on Jarvis. It's going on until November. We have a couple of closures on
November. Holy shit, bro. Please keep dumping on my fucking router every fucking time my face sort of lines up with the screen, you fucking idiot.
Bathurst east to Leslie. And Finch north to Steele.
We don't just get stalkers, we get stupid people that are also stalkers. It's wonderful.
In that area. Enjoy deep relaxation in your own home with a massage chair from Relaxacare. Choose from a huge selection of full body and luxury models.
I love taking 20 minutes to paste one piece of text. I love that.
With the extended forecast. Here's Jill
By the way, since you're a child molesting stalker, what the fuck are you doing watching this channel for? So can't you go fucking kill yourself? Remember, 250,000 times in a row, you've responded exactly as predicted. 250,000 times in a row, you fucking
will also feature some showers, but mainly for the morning, then mainly cloudy, the high near 11. That's the high today, 11.
And right now in downtown, we've got overcast conditions and 10 degrees. It's overcast at 11 out of Pearson. 680 News Time, 9:53.
As Desjardins agents, we take the time to get to know you, because the more we know, the better advice we can give. Your designer shoes, those limited edition glasses,
the more money you get. I love how that keeps locking up every time I look this way, eh?
You big softy, we've got you covered.
It kind of shows you got a problem more so than my computer, eh?
Get a quote at DesjardinAgents.com. Desjardins Insurance. Home, auto, life. Exclusions and conditions apply.
680 News Time, 9:54. Will Smith is getting a lot of praise this morning, not for a new movie or TV.
Apparently giving the best blowjobs to, fuck, what's Buddy's name? I just ruined the joke. I can't remember the fucking idiot's name. You don't think Will Smith did something useful for the world, do you? Yes, please keep locking up and freezing up Every fucking time I open my mouth to look at the screen. What's pathetic about this piece of shit is it every single, if my face lines up with the screen or I'm talking, pussy has to be hitting that button. Okay, why the fuck?
Public, especially high-speed chargers out.
You could literally take one
More comfortable they're going to be with buying. Is that
you could literally take one screenshot. Instead, 250,000 some odd times in a row, you've done exactly as predicted. All pedophiles think they're exceptionally intelligent. Most of them are well below average intelligence. They all think they're God. They all think they know everything. They all think everything is about them. You're not unique, buddy. You're the exact same as everybody says you are.
Listen and subscribe for free with your podcast player and at frequencypodcastnetwork.com.
Find your frequency.
Being a new mom isn't easy, but hugging's easy. Loving's easy. And baby D drops are easy too. Simply apply just one drop where baby feeds. There's no taste, so it doesn't interfere with feeding. Pediatricians recommend vitamin D daily for breastfed infants. Baby D drops, the sunshine vitamin in just one drop.
680 News Time, 9:56.
Now the 680 News Business Report. Here's Mike Apple.
Sarah, we're looking at a strong start to the morning trade on the markets. The TSX opening the month of May with a gain of 162 points, or 0.8%, at 19,270. The Dow is up 327 points. That's 1%. The S&P 500 into record territory in the early going this morning. It's a big week for economic signals, including manufacturing data and jobs statistics. Labor market stats for both Canada and the U.S. due on Friday, and that actually could show economies going in, or at least labor markets going in different directions in the States. The expectation is that the U.S. economy added about 1 million jobs last month. Here at home, a loss of 350,000 is the forecast, as provinces are back into shutdown last month. Now we're looking at stocks betting on the so-called roaring 20s, and tech stocks are leading the charge, but Bay Street's also getting a lift from the gold index because there's also talk about inflationary pressures building with prices going up for pretty much everything, and gold is up $22 an ounce at $17.89. The gold sector up by 2.5%. Also looking at
really, because it was $2,000 2 years ago. You're down about an 8.
Well, to expand fuel cell.
You're down 12.5%.
For smaller size vehicles instead of buses and trucks, which Ballard had previously focused on.
All of a sudden, we remember we make fuel cells.
Multi-billion-dollar loss again. The company's share price, though, is up 70 cents in the early trading.
Like they said, billion-dollar loss. That company loses money every fucking year. How is that possible? It's not.
FedEx and UPS both up by 2% in early trading activity this morning. Some weakness for the cannabis space. Canopy Growth down 74 cents at 32.41. After the Ontario Cannabis Store said it's actually reducing the supply or shipments or orders for cannabis right now because the demand is not
shipments or orders. What the fuck one did you mean?
And Organigram CEO Greg Engel announced
that he is shot for being a pussy.
That Brunswick-based company. Effective immediately, he will stay on as a special advisor to the company. Organigram stock is down 3%.
And whoever takes his place also going to get shot. And whoever takes that person's place also going to get shot. You think it's a fucking game? I've lost at least 15 friends to murder. You know how many I've watched die trying to get medicine? A lot more.
The company is hiring motivated and...
You know why I sell weed? You know why I sell weed? It's foolproof money, except for one thing. People die. Not from weed. People looking for weed have chronic ailments, which means they die.
Happy life, am I right?
And you people want more money and share price, and we're going to spray some Eagle 40 and whatever the fuck else you got. I swear to God, I catch you people on the street, you're getting beat the fuck up. Don't advertise. I work at Tokyo Smoker, where little kids buy weed from adults, or whatever the fuck you call your shit. What they call the other one? Honey bun or honey bear or some bullshit? You're not marketing to kids. Fuck off.
Problems on the go for the 401.
Let me catch you outside your fucking shops. You people open the door, and what do? You get fucking shocked when you see me and slam that fucking door. Because the person at the door had nothing to do with me being there, so there's no way to predict it.
Lakeshore, that's close east of BROWNSLINE for an ongoing police investigation.
You pussies all
This
gonna
Friday
get
through
shanked the
Sunday,
fuck
Mr.
up.
Lou will donate $2 for every oil change towards the MS Society of Canada. Take care of your car and people with MS. No appointment needed. I'm Richard Martin with Global.
Well, I guess I'm gonna go rob a Mr. Luke. Yes, Chomo. Every time I look towards the screen, every time I look towards the screen, it should lock up and freeze and show my head getting jerked around like I'm being hung. You're funny.
Radio 640 Toronto. This is Global News at 10 o'clock.
Good morning, I'm Dave Bradley. We could see a few showers this afternoon. It's not going to be overly warm, though. Right now, we're at 10 degrees. The Ford Conservatives have had all weekend to figure out their messaging. A report from the COVID-19 Long-Term Care Commission was released late in the day on Friday. This hour, we're hearing from the minister in charge of the file. Long-term care minister Marilee Fullerton hasn't responded to the report until now, only releasing a statement on the weekend that promised a safe and modern update to the sector. The report said it was years of neglect that ultimately led to the solution. That's a situation that saw nearly 4,000 people die during the COVID-19 pandemic. New information this morning on the effectiveness of trying to get at least one shot into the arms of as many people as possible. That's meant delaying a second dose of COVID-19 vaccines for up to 4 months. And it's the reason only about 3% of the overall population is fully vaccinated in Canada. The Globe and Mail is reporting, though, that once people get that first shot, very few end up getting the virus. As a matter of fact, only 1.3% of those who'd seen their first inoculation went on to contract the virus.
Whoa, that's more than the number of people getting it normally.
Specialist Dr. Isaac Bogosh speaking with Kelly Cotrera on Global News Radio this morning. He was asked about mixing and matching different brands of vaccines.
This is pure speculation, but I think we're going to see it for a couple of reasons. Number one, the study from the United Kingdom that is looking at mixing and matching doses. And I could be wrong. This is total speculation, but it's probably going to be fine, right? It's probably going to be totally okay, safe and effective to use vaccine A and then followed by vaccine B. That's just a...
Based on what? Based on what?
Canada says the interval between...
And this is where all the people who have learned about how vaccines work the last 6 months, they have no answer.
Shot through the provincial online booking portal. That's a change because up until now, those who lived in hotspot neighborhoods had to find a pop-up clinic, line up, and wait patiently.
Busy on this route approaching the Humber Bridge to east of it. And I should also mention the southbound 427 busy at the bottom end from Dundas and the Express onto the QEW ramp. On that ramp, the right lane is closed for construction. We're dealing with a closure of the Lakeshore in the west end from BROWNSLINE to 37th Avenue, and that's because of a police investigation, 37th Street, that is. We've got crews there blocking that section. And a power outage in North York, bounded by Bathurst, east to Leslie, and Steeles, Finch, rather, north to Steeles. That
you might be right.
Affecting traffic lights. Heard from a number of traffic spotters that it is, so just be aware of that and treat them as four-way stops. Next report at 10:11, and with the forecast, here's Jill Taylor.
Not much of a change in the temperature from where it is right now. Cloudy, windy, periods of light rain. The guaranteed high 11 degrees. More showers tonight near 8. For today, the guaranteed high 11. Right now in downtown Toronto, partly cloudy, 10 degrees. 680 News Time, 10:03.
Acadian Heights.
Well, younger people in more than 100 hotspots, most of which are here in the GTA, can now book their COVID-19 vaccine using the provincial portal. But heads up already, it's going to take some time, so be patient.
This is Ontario sees case counts below 4,000 for 8 days in a row, with the latest numbers out soon.
I swear, as I was starting this video, she said they were over 4,000 the last 8 days. I swear to God, she did.
Actually, Irene. That's right, Sarah. We've had a bit of an early sneak peek at some of today's numbers. Ontario reporting 3,436 new cases of COVID-19.
Where the fuck are the numbered streets?
In a row with fewer than 4,000 new cases. This is more than 100 postal code hotspots hotspots open up vaccinations to those 18 and older. Now, if you are booking, don't expect it to be a quick experience, at least an hour wait on the provincial site. Dr. Jeff Wong is an infectious disease expert and tells BT vaccinating the hotspots should bring cases down as quickly as possible.
This is where the fire is burning the hottest, so that's where we want to direct our most resources as quickly as possible. So we want to try to get as many people vaccinated in the hotspot. And, it leads to a slight delay for other areas of the province, but it's only by a couple of weeks.
And the city of Toronto tweeting that they are about to open up another 20,000 COVID-19 vaccine appointments in the city-operated clinics for the week of May 17th. They're expecting those appointments to go live in the provincial booking system shortly. Reporting live, Irene Precklett, 680 News.
And with that, despite the province allowing some hotspot residents 18 and older to book their vaccines, York Region now saying it doesn't quite have the supply to accommodate the change just yet. Here's 680's Laura Carney.
The age eligibility in the province's 114 hotspot postal codes expanding to 18 plus. But what happens if a region still doesn't have adequate vaccine supply? York Region says due to a shortage in vaccine, it will not be offering online booking to those between the ages of 18 and 34 who live in high priority communities. But those in that age group can book a vaccine through the provincial booking system. However, the only clinic in York Region where you'll be able to get an appointment this way is at the Cornell Community Center in Markham. Also, a lack of supply impacting 3 of York Region's mass vaccination sites. The clinics at Canada's Wonderland, Georgina Ice Palace, and Richmond Green will not be open today. I'm Laura Carney, 680 News Time, 10:06. We have some breaking news from ETOBICOKE, where one man is in hospital after a shooting. Emergency crews were called to the Lakeshore and BROWNSLINE area around 8:30 this morning. The victim suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Lakeshore is currently closed between BROWNSLINE and 37th Street for the investigation. Stay with 680 News for more on this developing story.
All right, happening right now, the province is responding to that scathing report on COVID and long-term care that was made public late last week. And 680's Momin Qureshi joining us live with more on the report and who is now speaking on it. Momin.
Steve, Minister Mary Lee Fullerton, the Minister of Long-Term Care, is now speaking, responding to that report that was released last week, a pretty scathing report saying that the long-term care homes are not prepared for the influx of COVID-19 because of years of neglect by the government, saying that Mary Lee Fullerton just saying that she has read the report to anybody in long-term care homes, that the government hears you and will do right by you. No apology there, but just saying that they will do right. And she's going through some of the recommendations and talking about what the government will do. I'll have more on what Fullerton had to say coming up at 10:30. Reporting live, I'm Momin Qureshi.
Public health officials are looking into a possible COVID outbreak at one of the quarantine hotels where travelers flying in from other countries are
Last night it happened. Today it's possible.
At the Crown
So I'll break it down for you. The technicality is if there's 2 cases within 14 days, a school calls it an outbreak. A workplace, it has to be 5 cases. Here, that's a good question. They're going to go on about did you catch it here or not instead of the fucking point.
You don't know where it's coming from, and everybody's got to be careful.
What did I just say? You don't know where it's coming from.
Investigating a number of COVID
Yes, you
cases
do.
linked to this hotel. They won't say
They're sucking spit droplets off the next man's face, obviously.
Works right across the street.
It's alarming that we weren't notified. That we should know. We have a right to know.
Air passengers arriving from abroad must stay in one of the
you have a right to
quarantine
know?
hotels for 3 nights until they
Well,
get the
how people
results of a
make up laws.
COVID-19 test. Only those who test negative can leave.
Only those who test negative can leave? That's not what it says.
And Prime Minister
That's not what it
Justin
says.
Trudeau is urging Canadians
In that case, you have to stay until you test negative.
during this pandemic.
The quarantine is 15 days. Oh, it's 14 days, but the incubation period is 15. That's right. We're a day short every fucking time somebody does that.
With those changes, many have experienced increased stress and anxiety. I want you to know that you're not alone. We're all going through these challenging times together.
Now, Trudeau says we all have a role to play to end the stigma around mental health. Coming up 30 seconds from now, we'll have a check on the price of gas.
City News Time, 10:09.
Your news now on your radio, online, and on your smart speaker.
Play 680 News.
Get ready to dip this May for our annual Best and More Pizza for Kids. In support of Variety, the children's charity of Ontario.
50 cents from every dip will help kids like
You stay active. I dip. You dip. Let's all dip for variety.
Ciao, I'm Dominic Pinucci, inviting you to add a dip with your pizza and help make a difference.
More people that got to get robbed. We're helping you. No, you're not. I'm so fucking sick of this shit, man. We paid the police chief that beat you up and had you arrested 6 times to sell you these drugs we sprayed with chemical. You people are not playing along. You know that, right?
Yes.
Oh, we make a donation to MS Canada. Thanks. Do you know what I need from MS Canada? If you knew 15 years ago, if you knew, right? We're going to sell you dips in pieces of plastic. No, I don't fucking want it, you fucking retard. I hope you get shot delivering your pizza.
Project superintendent.
The job is so perfect for me. I had a career breakthrough. I would have never found this job if it wasn't for ZipRecruiter.
At ZipRecruiter, we've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists. With ZipRecruiter, we get hiring results.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. That's ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada.
City News Time, 10:11.
Time now for traffic and weather together on the ones. And with Toronto's most frequent traffic reports, how are things looking out there, Kyle?
Well, better on the eastbound 401. The minor problem we had east of Kipling and the collectors has cleared, so we're up to speed on this route. We'll watch out for construction crews east and westbound on the 401 at Huron-Ontario in the express. The HOV lane is blocked off. No delays there, but keep an eye out for crews that are working. We have just one other delay. It's southbound 427. The ramp to the QEW is reduced to a single lane. The right lane's blocked in the ramp for construction. So delays from Dundas and the Express onto the QEW ramp. If you're heading on to the Gardner, you'll find it a smooth drive now, at least for the first part. The problem we had, or the moving maintenance we had just east of the Humber Bridge has cleared. Still looks a bit busy on the eastbound Gardner ramp to Jarvis. At the end of that ramp, there is a turning restriction. You can't turn northbound onto Jarvis. Because of a closure of northbound Jarvis. Queens Quay to the Esplanade for construction. That'll be in place until November, we're told. Southbound lanes of Jarvis are open in this area, and it also looks like they have lane restrictions on the Lakeshore here. Westbound Lakeshore, as you approach Jarvis, 2 right lanes have been blocked off as they do work in this area. You'll find a closure as well as the Lakeshore in the west end from BROWNSLINE to 37th Street, closed east and westbound for a police investigation. Next report at 10:21, and with the forecast, here's Jill Taylor.
Periods of light rain for us today and a gusty northeast wind. The guaranteed high 11 degrees. More showers tonight near 8 and showers tomorrow 14 degrees. Wednesday will feature some showers in the morning. The mainly cloudy, may even get some sunny breaks. The high though just 11 degrees. That's our guaranteed high today, 11. Right now in downtown Toronto, it's partly cloudy, 10 degrees. Over at Pearson Airport, mostly cloudy and 12. 680 News Time, 10:12.
Time now for the Dynamic Funds Market Minute. And for that, let's go to the Business Center. And happy Monday, Chris McCusker.
Yes, happy Monday to you. And pretty happy Monday on markets as well as we start this new month. We've got solid gains on both sides of the border. The S&P is the one that has gotten closest to its all-time high, at least so far, coming within 13 points. So right now it's up by 26. The NASDAQ higher by 57. The Dow up by 257. And the TSX higher by 139, 19,247. So as it stands right now, the TSX and the Dow are tied for the best performer, looking at gains of 0.7%. Gold is higher by $25, $17.93. Oil up by 65 cents, $64.23 a barrel. And the Canadian dollar higher by 4/100, 81.41 cents US. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
When you fully understand the risks, you're well positioned for the reward. That's what resilient investment portfolios are all about. Visit dynamic.ca/advice to learn more.
I'm so happy. I'm happy. I'm so happy. I'm happy. I'm so happy. I'm happy.
If you're dealing with erectile dysfunction or want to enhance your performance,
It sounds like you're marketing to sex offenders, actually. Like, nobody thinks like that except for rapists, and that's who you're marketing towards. People who chemically are having their dick made not to work. That's what you're marketing.
Financial health and our ability to make ends meet. Look, it's not just about selling oil and turning it into gasoline. It's about oil that supports our petrochemical sector, the kind of products that make PPEs, the kind of products that have,
PPEs. Put on your equipment.
Including coal and other means of
oh, could we use so much coal out there?
Examples.
Why are you still mining coal out of the Rocky Mountains, stupid?
Completely lost sight of the fact.
Okay, that's four fucking sets of people that got to have at least one of their friends shot today to make things straight.
Recognizing that these things are going to take time, and we're going to do in one fell swoop, in one evening, in one day, potentially, if the governor gets a court order, no matter what is happening before the courts, gets a court order calling for the injunction on the 12th. Our goose is cooked in Ontario, and we better be prepared for a jump. Let me be very blunt about this, because I know what I'm talking about when it comes to gas prices. 20 to 50 cents a liter easily. Over and above the $1.30.
Anytime somebody says, let me tell you, because I know what I'm talking about when it comes to, he said gas prices. He didn't say the petrochemical industry, retail marketing. Hello, Chomo. Every time I look this way, I want my neck to jerk like I'm being hung, with my eyes to fucking clamp shut. You're so creative.
More compounded, and there's no easy,
more compounded
alternative. We have that. It's called the
you have your PPEs?
But liberals have discovered that.
Okay, so what?
By the way, none of my PPE is made out of oil.
This will always be there.
But I'm better protected than you people buying the shit at the store.
Most of our natural gas here in Ontario comes from, drum roll please, the United States, the Marcellus Shale. Yeah.
He can talk shit all he wants. The vast majority of natural gas projects in Canada run straight into the U.S. Thank you.
Pipelines or natural gas.
We're buying it from then. No, we're not. Fucking idiot.
Pipeline would be, is a significant pipeline as well, because the propane is used in industry. It's used for.
Yeah. Here's more. We have a pipeline that runs natural gas, propane, oil, gasoline, and diesel in 3 different directions. No, you don't. That doesn't exist. Make up your mind what the fuck you're talking about.
Heating your homes, but come September, October, November, the Great Lakes shuts down. Your options are limited. So, again, I guess my concern has always been too little, too late. I knew about this 4 or 5 years ago. I pleaded with everybody I could speak to. As part of my talking about gasoline prices, and oh, by the way, you should know that. And I won't single them out because I'm saying they're the only ones. But, several discussions with the Canadian press, and they just shrug their shoulders thinking it wasn't a big deal. I hope that doesn't happen next week, but it has, and it's about.
I can't believe we're this close to it, and it's just something that I'm hearing about now.
Yeah, well, Kelly, your federal government didn't bother cluing into this until January and February. My good old friend Joe Martin, who's our trade ambassador.
Our made-up petrochemical industry. I didn't know till now. These assholes report the numbers every 10 minutes, every fucking day, but won't admit that the whole thing is a setup.
With those demanding pipelines.
We're going to pay more for gas.
So certainly someone's going to call you on it. That's exactly what's happened. Our federal liberals have been big on shutting down pipelines, attacking the oil sector, attacking our hydrocarbon sector.
No, they're not.
It's our #1.
They paid $4.5 billion for a pipeline that don't exist to compensate. Okay, I'll put it to you like this. You give me $45 because I claim I spent $5.
Country is going to come back and call you on it, as the United States is doing now, saying.
And there's still 10,000 RCMP on wet sweet lit.
This is about to knock on your door.
Until I hear they're not there anymore, they're there. Which is good, because I got shit to burn down at the other end of the country, stupid.
I don't think it's going to be shut down on the 12th.
I told you not to do what you're doing. What happened? 23 people got shot by someone wearing your uniform, driving your car. 23. There were 23 bodies at the funeral home.
The right to give the easement.
You want to tell me again it wasn't?
Which was given in 1953. We're removing that because we don't like what you've done for whatever reason, political or otherwise. What happens on the 12th is that effectively Enbridge will be producing, sending, and shipping oil in violation of Michigan's ordinance. And
I was about to say that. They're not going to shut down anyway.
To uphold that, and it will be shut. They'll simply bring in the National Guard or local police force or whatever the case may be to shut it down. Will that happen on the 12th? No. And will this happen ultimately? I don't know. It's 50-50. But I can say that 4 years of neglect and basically, looking the other way, not thinking.
SWN, Selwyn, from Texas. You're a bunch of big tough guys. We're Texas. We're Texas. We're Texas. You're gonna get your fucking face shot from here, bro. What I make happen so far? I gave you a disease and freezing weather with no electricity. I gave you a whole bunch of things you don't like. You don't like black magic? This is nigger magic, bro. You need to fuck up.
We're going to make things a little bit lighter. Elon Musk, he's going to be the host of Saturday Night Live this weekend. He's done...
Yeah, because he's a child molesting fucking cokehead too. Yeah.
The Globe and Mail reports the Trudeau government is considering a plan to defer some deliveries of vaccines for international programs, instead building up the domestic supply, despite moves by France, the U.S., Norway, New Zealand, and Spain, all announcing they'll start redistributing vaccines to poorer countries. The Globe reports Ottawa's waiting for Health Canada to approve more shots first. About a third of Canadians have received at least one dose. More than 120 poorer countries are running at less than 1% vaccine.
Okay, you want to know why they're doing this? Because they know it won't make any difference in the end. Okay, if they all came out last week and started saying we're going to donate back to India, people go, wow, that's a big deal. But the thing is, in India, the factory that makes the vaccines and the guy that's paying for the vaccines and the people that need the vaccines are sitting in the same fucking room and still can't get this shit moving. So you won't face any criticism whatsoever for your ineffective bullshit.
Maybe time with more of the family.
Quality Control Manager at Monte Carlo Inns. Never has it been more important to support local. And at Monte Carlo Inns, we are very proud of our Made in Canada brand. So whenever you're ready, come visit us and check out our newly renovated suites.
Mes deux parents ont essayé de préserver leur culture en fuyant un génocide ici. C'est quand même quelque chose. Puis je ressens beaucoup d'amour juste en sachant ça, puis en sachant que j'ai une communauté ici au Québec de personnes par moi qui ont ce même histoire aussi.
Mm-hmm. Votre mère est chrétienne, votre père est de religion hindoue, et je ne savais pas qu'un des plus gros festivals hindous en Amérique du Nord...
What did you just say?
All right, got time for traffic and weather.
Way to sound not prejudiced.
This report brought to you by 407 ETR. Just seeing the one delay on our major routes. It's southbound 427. A bit slow on the express ramp to the QEW, and that's because of construction on the ramp in the right lane. So going south of Dundas Express on the QEW ramp. Otherwise, the drive not too bad on highways. We have still construction affecting the eastbound Gardner. Specifically the ramp to Jarvis. At the end of it, no left turns because northbound Jarvis is closed from Queens Quay to the Esplanade. That's at the front because of construction. So no access for travelers going northbound there. Southbound Jarvis is still open. That's a long-term project. Started this morning at 7 o'clock and will be in place until November. We're getting conflicting information of whether it's a 24-hour-a-day closure or whether they're just working during the day. But I assume if they're digging up the road to replace a water main, which is what they're doing, they'll probably have to have the road closed all the time. We have closure of the Lakeshore from BROWNSLINE to 37 for an ongoing police investigation. And we have a power outage in North York, in the area bounded from by Bathurst east to Leslie and Finch north to Steeles. Police are on scene helping to direct traffic at some of the major intersections in that area. We have a tree that...
Does that count as North York?
And treat them as always stops. 407 ETR has added to its own virtual award-winning customer service team with live chat to help serve drivers on and off the road. Visit 407etr.com. Next report at 10:31 and with the extended forecast. Here's Jill Taylor.
Unsettled conditions for the first week of May and below average highs. Our guaranteed high today just 11 degrees, the average high about 17. Periods of light rain at times. More showers tonight near 8 and showers tomorrow 14. Wednesday will feature showers in the morning, then mainly cloudy, may even get some sunny breaks, the high near 11. That's the guaranteed high today, 11. Right now in downtown Toronto, it's partly cloudy, 10 degrees. Pearson Airport, cloudy and 12. 680 News Time, 10:23.
When the sun is rising and the birds are chirping, there's no better way to start the day than a good old freshly milked Jeff. And when it comes to car insurance, only the most oblivious Jeffs get milked. Jeffs who never shop around. Freshly milked Jeff. Good to the last Jeff.
Don't get milked on car insurance. Get a better rate and save an average of $676 with rates.ca.
680 News is #1 for news in Toronto.
From the scene.
As 680's Mark Douglas is out Coxwell and Gerard this afternoon. The house was so badly gutted by this early morning fire. You can see right through the front, out the back. From Queen's Park, we are waiting for the latest from the
Everybody but a kid died in that fire, and they keep using it as a commercial.
24/7.
Have they covered the actual story as to why the place burned down? No.
It's 680 News.
All right, happening right now at Queen's Park, long-term care minister Mary Lee Fullerton is responding now to the COVID Commission's final report.
Are you or your government going to apologize to people for what happened in long-term care?
You know, I think collectively as a society, we need to do some soul searching and understand why, you know, it took a pandemic to address the capacity issues in long-term care, the staffing.
Whoa! We had to kill off 4,000 people to make room for beds. Did you hear her? We had to kill 4,000 people to make room for beds. That's what she just said. They took a pandemic to deal with the capacity issue. Really?
And the Auditor General report that these were long-standing issues.
And a report again saying that the province failed to learn lessons from the SARS epidemic in 2003 and that sweeping reforms are needed to protect residents in the future. We'll have more details with our Moment Qureshi coming up.
Yes, Chomo. Yes, Chomo. I stood here and went like this for 4.5 fucking minutes. You are fucking pathetic, bro.
And for just $10,
buddy, hurry the fuck up. You're ruining the flow of my jokes. I stood here and went like this for 4.5 minutes. It's so creative.
the week after that. For quality that meets your family standards, trust ours. Longos.
Shane Baghive, Leaside Manor Luxury Condo at 3 South Bay
Well,
Drive.
but if I'm going to psychoanalyze you, it's like this. I know that means you will strike children, but you're scared of grown adults. What am I talking about? Every time you show me these violent photos of me edited back on my screen, what you're showing me is basically somebody where you've done this, or you're shaking them like this. That's not what real violence looks like. This eyes closed and edited with crayons or whatever the fuck you're doing. That's not how a dead body looks. So you will assault children, but you're scared. You're terrified of fully grown people. I mean, you've been fixated on me for how many decades, bro?
Steve on Bay and Wall Street with markets coming off gains in April. Now the TSX higher by 148 points, 19,256. The Dow is up by 283. The Nasdaq higher by 52, and the S&P has actually gotten closest to its all-time high, coming to within 13 points. Right now, it's up by 23. Now, for market watchers, sell in May and go away is often a thing. Does it happen this year? Andrew Pyle, senior wealth advisor, and
that's funny because in 40 fucking years, I've never heard that line before in my life.
These seasonal factors or seasonal anomalies, do happen, but they don't happen with enough frequency that I would say to an investor, for sure, this is going to happen this year.
He's never heard it before either.
For investors going into this month is that we've had a pretty strong equity market.
So it's a recorded phone call. Her first set of words wasn't on the phone call.
So if you were going to have a sell in May type of occurrence, you would typically expect it after pretty sizable gains where investors might be looking to lighten up their portfolios.
Now earnings to come this
that
week.
That part was on the phone call. You still answered her question. You are fucked up, dude.
Molson Coors is seeing a strong performance already from a new energy drink endorsed by The Rock, also known as Dwayne Johnson.
I was so broke. I had $7. It was actually 6 and change, but I rounded it up. Then you weren't really there, you lying piece of shit.
Says in the U.S. is huge, estimated at $16 billion, and they are hoping to get a meeting.
Yeah, you know what the biggest thing in energy drinks is? 0-calorie energy drinks. That's it for me.
By $27, $17.95. Oil up by 91 cents, $64.48, and the Canadian dollar higher by 3/100, 81.40 cents U.S.
Really?
I'm Chris McCusker. This is
That's
680
interesting.
News.
The spring blowout sale has been held over at Dodge Garage Doors. Save hundreds of dollars on Dodge, the most reviewed, best reviewed, highest rated garage doors on the market. Consumer's Choice Award winners 21 years in a row. And now, huge savings on Dodge's exclusive top quality garage doors. Don't wait. Call now. The spring blowout sale has been held over for a limited time only at Dodge Garage Doors.
DODDS. No one does it better than Dodge does. No one.
Make your next career move with 2 Men in a Truck. The company is hiring motivated and enthusiastic team members for mover, driver, and customer service positions. And if you're looking for more, professional advancement is always a possibility. In fact, 75% of 2 Men in a Truck managers started in frontline positions. Now is the time to apply. Visit 2meninatruck.ca and click careers.
2 Men and a Truck, the movers who care. All right, right now in downtown, we got overcast conditions and 10 degrees. It's overcast as well and 11 out of Pearson Airport. Michael Gibbons is the Midday Show editor. Zahir Hashimi is at the digital desk in 680 News Time, 10:30.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News.
Good morning. It's Monday, May 3rd. I'm Sarah Parrott.
And I'm Steve Roberts. Here's what's making news this hour.
Ontario's long-term care minister is responding to that scathing report that found the sector was not prepared to address the pandemic. For the 9th day in a row, Ontario reports fewer than 4,000 new COVID-19 cases. This is vaccinations open up for those 18 and older in certain hotspots.
The National Advisory Committee on Immunization will release its advice on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine as distribution of the shot is on hold while Health Canada investigates a possible quality control issue. And a man in his 20s has serious injuries after being shot this morning near Lakeshore and BROWNSLINE.
Raptors take care of the Lakers. Blue Jays go for 4 in a row in Oakland. Leafs are in Montreal. Sports at 45.
We've got triple-digit gains on the TSX and the Dow. Now, Bay Street is getting a lift from the gold stocks, while the marijuana stocks are await. Business at 56.
680 News Time, 10:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Kyle Hawking.
This report is brought to you by Citi. We've got a fairly quiet drive on the highways. Minor delay on the southbound 427 on the ramp to the QEW. The right lane is blocked off, so a bit of a lineup there, but it's not too bad. You'll find the 401 under construction for a short stretch through Huron, Ontario, and the Express. The HOV lane is blocked each way for maintenance. Crews have been working on construction in this area the last couple of weeks during the day, and it typically doesn't impact your speeds all that much. Today, no different. We've got on city streets, actually, let me mention one more thing that feeds into a city street. Eastbound Gardner ramp to Jarvis. When you get to the end of it, you can't make the left turn to go north on Jarvis. Because of this city street issue, northbound Jarvis is closed from Queens Quay to the Esplanade for long-term construction. Will be in place until November as crews work to replace an ancient water main, 91 years old, so it's certainly in need of replacement. We've got closure of the Lakeshore in the west end from BROWNSLINE to 37th Street for a police investigation.
Go for 4 in a row.
Also, we have
1930.
Traffic there. Traffic spotter called that in, plus that northbound Highway 50 at Major Mac, recall Lorraine, the right lane blocked off. So that's just making things worse. Very heavy delays on Highway 50 north and southbound. One more issue is that there's power outage in North York from Bathurst east to Leslie and Finch north to Steeles. We get an updated restoration time from Toronto Hydro. It was 11 a.m. Now they say maybe not until 6 p.m. to get lights back on. Plan for traffic lights out in that area. Next report at 10:41, and with the forecast, here's Jill Taylor.
Cloudy and windy with periods of light rain for us. The guaranteed high 11. More showers tonight near 8. For today, the guaranteed high 11.
And right now in downtown, it's 10 degrees and mostly cloudy. 11 and cloudy at Pearson. 680 News Time, 10:33.
Ontario's long-term care minister has spoken out following the release of an independent report outlining major problems within the system well before the pandemic hit.
And 680's Momin Qureshi has been following the story for us, joining us live now with that reaction. Momin?
If you were looking for the Ford government to take responsibility or issue an apology for the way long-term care homes were affected by the pandemic during their time in government, didn't really happen. Long-term care minister Mary Fullerton was asked directly if her government would apologize. She sidestepped the question, but she did say that they plan to make changes to make the system better, but didn't really fully take on the responsibility that her government of her government.
Those lives in long-term care that were lost, I'll repeat, they must not be lost in vain. And our government is making sure that we will do right by the residents, by the staff, and by the people that have experienced such devastation. Well, we are fixing a broken system.
Fullerton did say that they need to improve working conditions for staff and residents, actively working on making changes to the inspection regime, and that the lessons from SARS were forgotten and not implemented. So she did talk about making changes, although not really with too much specifics there as well, but no apology issue from the Ford government when it comes to the way long-term care homes have been heavily hit during this pandemic. Reporting live, I'm Momin Qureshi.
Well, Ontario is reporting another below 4,000 day of new COVID cases. This as more people in the GTA can now book a vaccination. 680's Irene Precklet joins us live with that and more, including the latest numbers. Irene.
Sarah, today, the 9th day in a row below 4,000, 3,623. It is based on fewer tests, which brings our positivity rate up to 9.7%, but that is fairly typical for a Monday, and the lowest it's been for the past 2 Mondays. This as the province opens up vaccinations to the...
Why would it change on a Monday? Well, they tell us some hospitals don't report on weekends, but then they never adjust the Monday and Tuesday numbers. That's one thing.
An hour for most people. Dr.
But we'll tell you all right that a lot of people aren't bothering to go get tested or do any of this other shit on certain days.
Down further.
Now that we're adopting the hotspot strategy,
You did a test yesterday,
intensely, I think,
and it comes back positive. You're not going to work today. Why would you do that? That's right. Nobody would do that.
So I think we just need to stay the course and just try to get as many vaccines in arms, as possible in this, during the month of May.
As for vaccines in arms, just under 54,000 vaccinations in the latest daily total, which is one of the lowest numbers we've seen in some time. And for the second day in a row, hospitalizations and ICU admissions are down 1,925, 889 of those people in the ICU. Reporting live, Irene Precklet, 680 News.
Well, of course, despite the province expanding its vaccine rollout to those hotspots, up in York region, they say at this point, they just don't have the supply to support the age change. And with details, here's 680's Laura Carney.
As the province expands the age eligibility in 114 postal codes, York region, which uses its own booking system, says it doesn't have enough supply and won't be booking those between the ages of 18 and 34 in these high priority communities. That age group can use the provincial site, but the only clinic offering appointments this way is at the Cornell Community Center in Markham. Lack of vaccine supply also forcing public health to close 3 mass vaccination sites. York Region's medical officer, Health Dr. Kareem Kurji.
It isn't fair for us to keep on closing our clinic, and it isn't fair for us to not receive our equitable share.
The clinics at Canada's Wonderland, Georgina Ice Palace, and Richmond Green will not be open today. I'm Laura Carney. The Peel region has launched a vaccine standby list to ensure that all doses are used up at the end of each day at Peel public health clinics. The region says while the doses taken out of storage are closely matched to appointments for the day, there may be a few extra vaccines left because of no-shows or cancellations. The vaccine standby list is only for individuals who have not received their first COVID vaccine, who are currently eligible and live in Peel and are able to get a Peel public health clinic within 15 to 30 minutes of being contacted.
You're listening to 680 News. It's now 10:37. And we're following some breaking news from ETOBICOKE, where one man is in hospital after a drive-by shooting at Lakeshore and BROWNSLINE. Now, it all happened around 8:30 this morning, and Toronto Police Duty Inspector Michael Williams says the suspect pulled up to the victim's vehicle and opened fire.
We've located 4 shell casings. There's 4 holes in the vehicle as well. A 28-year-old male victim has been transported to a local trauma center with a gunshot wound to his lower body, which is considered non-life-threatening at this time.
And police right now are looking for a black hatchback with 2 people inside. And stay with 680 News for more on this developing story.
And provinces should get new advice today on the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine, but the shot is still on hold as Health Canada investigates a potential quality control issue.
Later today, the National Advisory Committee on Immunization will release its recommendations for the Johnson & Johnson shot, which has been approved by Health Canada for people 18 years and older. NACI's advice on vaccines has at times conflicted with Health Canada, such as with the AstraZeneca shot, where NACI changed its guidance several times on who should be receiving it due to blood clot concerns, while the regulator has stayed steady with its approval for all adults. This has led to some confusion among the provinces, who are not bound by NACI's advice. Currently, the first shipment of the Johnson & Johnson shot is on pause for distribution to provinces as Health Canada investigates a possible issue linked to the U.S. plant where they were made. It's the same plant that made mistakes which caused 15 million other doses to be destroyed. Meanwhile, Canada is not short on shots. 2 million Pfizer vaccines are arriving weekly beginning this week, and next week, Moderna is due to ship 1 million doses to our country. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time, 10:39.
I just want to be independent. I spent my whole life moving. I'm not stopping now. It would be so nice to get out again. I definitely want to continue doing things for myself.
This Mother's Day, show Mom you're listening. At Evolution Walkers, we offer the safest, most versatile walkers on the market. Foldable, lightweight, and customized to suit Mom's lifestyle and needs. Visit evolution.ca. Evolution Walkers, with you every step of the way.
Now the 680 News gas price update, and Pro predicts the price won't change at midnight. It'll stay at $1.29.9 cents a liter.
680 News Time, 10:40. The question isn't, do you want a new bathroom?
It's called screen stacking. Have you ever heard of screen stacking before, Rob?
Uh-oh. I have not.
Okay, well, your kid is a little bit young for this, but
Well,
so do something now.
AGM Renovations.
If your bathroom is over 10 years old, call AGM Renovations now for a free water damage and mold assessment. AGM are Canada's highest rated renovators, and if you act fast, they could save you thousands of dollars in unnecessary repairs. Protect your home and your health. Don't wait. For your free assessment, go to agmrenovations.com.
AGMRenovations.com.
680 News Time, 10:41.
time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Kyle talking.
This report is brought to you by Shoppers Drug Mart. We have a bit of construction on our major routes for the midday. Southbound 427 ramp to the QEW has the right lane blocked on it, so you'll find a lineup from south of Dundas and the Express onto the QEW ramp. Relatively minor delays, not too bad, but it will slow. We as well on the QEW itself westbound have that ramp lane blocked off west of the 427. So once you get onto the highway, that ramp lane is still coned off for construction. But the west QEW is moving well, so it's just to back up onto the ramp. We as well have lane restrictions on the 401 east and westbound at Huron, Ontario and the Express. The HOV lane blocked off for construction, but no delay through there. In fact, the 401's moving well across the city. On the eastbound Gardner ramp to Jarvis, when you get to the end of it, you'll
To the Scotiabank Ultimate Pack.
Service has been closed from Queens Quay to the Esplanade. It's going to be with us for a while until November. They're replacing an old water main in this area underneath Jarvis. So the northbound lanes are closed, southbound open, but this is going to be quite an extensive construction project they're doing. As part of this today, at least, westbound Lakeshore approaching Jarvis, 2 right lanes are blocked off. Another lake.
They have to find everything under the ground. They don't know where anything is.
Highway 50 and Major Mackenzie or Coleraine. Northbound traffic seeing the right lane blocked for construction, plus at the end.
That's who never shop around.
Entier, vivant, rappelle-moi, ce soir, tout le temps.
Place to be out. Now until May 6th, get 40,000 PC Optimum points.
Maintenant, toujours, rappelle-moi, entier, vivant, rappelle-moi.
East wind for us today, cloudy, windy, some rain.
Toujours,
Time for this. All right, screen stacking. I started talking about it and then I was given the boot by our computer, but that's okay. Hopefully you hung around. I want to talk about screen stacking. If it's not part of your lexicon of words, let's get familiar with the term. Screen stacking, apparently, 2 in 3 kids are regularly doing this after school. So imagine your kid virtual learning, then they are screen stacking when they're done. What is it? They're using up to 4 digital devices at a time. So screen stacking is using multiple screens at once, multiple devices. And they're finding that once school day ends, recent studies have found that 2/3 of kids are spending their evening and weekends staring at up to 4 screens at once. I know that's hard to believe because I
count this one as number 5.
Don't have time for 2. 2 seems like a lot, but you picture maybe somebody's got a TV on in the room, then your kid's got a tablet, they've got a phone. I don't know what the 4th device would be. A laptop? It's a.
We have been replaced.
Increasingly sedentary lifestyle, and if people.
Canada First Defense Strategy. That's where they're quoting that line from. Canadians are increasingly living Canadians are living an increasingly sedentary lifestyle. That's the 4th time in a day we've heard them say that. It comes from the Canada First Defense Strategy, which we never implemented.
In 2015, and we know that if you have diabetes, you're at higher risk of complications from COVID. So screen stacking, a big problem. 90% of adolescents study either on their smartphone or have access to one, and then they've got a bunch of other screens that are available to them. So it's just something.
So because you can only manage one screen, your kid learning on 2 different screens is bad. It's not possible. Now remember, her generation said computers were making us stupid. The computer does all the work, The computer does all the work, These are the cokeheads that pretend they're not cokeheads when they see us in the daytime and do everything they can to shit on us. And that's why we fucking tell them what they want. Because they deserve it.
This problem will take many solutions, including boosting staffing. Ontario's COVID case count is below 4,000.
We need more money to have more jobs if you want us to fix what we did.
Hotspot postal codes open up vaccinations to people 18 and older starting today. Remember to be patient if you're trying to book, as some of the wait times for the provincial site is at least an hour right now. And coming up after sports, we'll tell you which European country is slowly reopening starting today. Time for 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Andrew Nye.
Hi, Sarah. Kyle Lowry reminded the Lakers what they could have had, but there was nothing in it for him other than a win.
I didn't care about nothing other than winning this game tonight. No extra motivation for nothing.
Lowry had 37 points, 11 dimes. Pascal Siakam, 39 points, 13 boards, and the Raptors scored 72 first-half points on the way to a 121-114 win. Raptors can go 500 on the road trip with a win tomorrow against the Clippers. The Blue Jays swept the Braves, winning the finale 7-2. Ross Stripling was good in his return, giving up 2 runs on 5 hits over 4 1/3, while Marcus Semien drove in 4 runs with a double and homer. Jays go for 4 in a row tonight in Oakland. First pitch 9:40 on Sportsnet, Sportsnet 1, and Sportsnet 590 The Fan. It's Maple Leafs game day. They're in Montreal for the first of 3 straight against the Habs this week. Game time tonight, 7 o'clock on Sportsnet. And Canada's Carrie Anderson takes a 1-4 record into today's action at the World Women's Curling Championship. She has games against Germany and Korea. Sports 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
Hiring can be challenging, but ZipRecruiter makes it fast and easy. We talked to Monica Starks, who needed to hire for a pivotal role at her company, GS Group.
As the owner of a construction company, finding the right people is a very difficult task. So I use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology identifies the right people for your job and actively invites them to apply, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com. ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. Monica did, and that's how she found Lamont, her new project superintendent.
The job is so perfect for me. I had a career breakthrough. I would have never found this job if it wasn't for ZipRecruiter.
With ZipRecruiter, we've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists. With ZipRecruiter, we get hiring results.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. That's ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada.
680 News Time, 10:48.
Well, France is set to begin easing its lockdown measures starting today.
France's nationwide lockdown slowly ending. People will be allowed to resume traveling between regions, and middle schools and high schools will reopen. A nationwide curfew does remain in place. Bars, restaurants, and non-essential shops remain closed. They are set to reopen later this month. This comes as the French government indicated the country cannot yet afford to open vaccination to all adults, given the doses currently available, though the plan is to do so by mid-June. Inez Delacoutera, ABC News, Paris.
And it's going to be an epic battle in the courtroom today with the world's most valuable company, Apple, facing off against the maker of the Fortnite video game.
It's a court case that could upend Apple's control of its app store, specifically the fees that Apple charges to the developers to post their products. The U.S. federal court case is being brought by Epic Games, maker of Fortnite, with its 250 million users. Epic wants to topple the so-called walled garden of the App Store, which Apple started building 13 years ago and was originally championed by Epic, but Epic Games says Apple has transformed a once tiny digital storefront into an illegal monopoly that squeezes the app developers for a significant slice of their earnings, up to 30%. Feeding off the success of the apps, Apple kicked Epic off the store last August after Epic tried to bypass the system. Both CEOs of Apple and Epic will testify in the trial, which will be up to a judge and will likely be appealed. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Epple.
Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll check in with traffic and weather.
680 News Time, 10:50.
Get hooked on Bolt Plus. Bolt Plus is your fastener specialist, plus so much more. Check out their massive showroom filled with an extensive inventory of industrial and safety supplies, such as abrasives, adhesives, and lubricants, anchors, storage bins, paints and coatings, cutting tools, chain hooks, and wire rope, plus a huge stock of DeWalt and Milwaukee power tools. Let their knowledgeable staff source your hard-to-find items. Bolt Plus, proudly Canadian-owned and operated, many locations to serve you. Shop online, boltplus.ca. Oh no, there's water everywhere!
Dad, a pipe broke.
My poor carpet.
We need a plumber.
And fast. Roto-Rooter does plumbing. We need somebody to clean up this water. And Roto-Rooter does water cleanup.
As soon as I can find a phone in all this water, I'm calling a bunch of people.
I told you, Roto-Rooter does both. 1-800-GET-ROTO.
Wait, Roto-Rooter does plumbing?
And water cleanup? Yeah, they do both. 1-800-GET-ROTO. What's their number?
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And away go troubles down the drain.
680 News Time, 10:51.
Time for traffic and weather together all the ones. Here's Kyle Locking.
This report brought to you by Aaron Waxman and Associates. A busy spot on the southbound 427 because of construction that's been set up on the ramp to the QEW. We have the right lane blocked off, so expect delays on the south 427, Dundas and the Express onto the QEW ramps, gotten a little heavier in the last 10 minutes. That's really the only slow spot, though, on our highways. We do have construction as well on the 401, both ways between, well, actually right at Huron, Ontario and the Express. The HOV lane is blocked each way, so you'll find crews working there, but no delay. The 401 in general moving fairly well. I am seeing minor delays westbound just as you approach Mississauga Road. It looks good on the Gardner in each direction and on the Don Valley Parkway. Although something to mention on the Gardner is that the eastbound Gardner ramp to Jarvis, at the end of it, you can't make the left turn to go north because northbound Jarvis is closed from Queens Quay up to the Esplanade for replacement of a 91-year-old water main. Crews just started work this morning, and that's not expected to be done until November, so we'll be dealing with this closure of northbound Jarvis until then, it sounds like. I just got an update from police on the scene of this investigation in the West End. Lakeshore is just reopening from BROWNSLINE to 37th. They're just opening lanes there, and TTC service is resuming. We still have reported traffic lights out at Highway 50 and Major Mackenzie or Coleraine. Still seeing a delay northbound, but southbound traffic's okay now. So it may be just that this northbound Highway 50 at Major Mackenzie or Coleraine, the right lane blocked off for construction. It looks like the lights may be working again, so progress there. Lights still aren't working in North York. We have an outage bounded from the area by Bathurst, east to Leslie, and Finch, north to Steeles. Estimated time of restoration not until 6 p.m., so expect traffic lights out. If your disability claim has been denied for any reason, call Aaron Waxman at 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD. Next report at 11:01, and with the extended forecast here Tuesday.
It's an unsettled first week of May. Some showers at times, below average highs. The guaranteed high today is 11 degrees, so the average high is about 16 or 17. More showers for tonight near 8, and more showers for Tuesday. High about 14 degrees. Wednesday will also feature some showers, but mainly for the morning, then mainly cloudy, the high near 11. That's the high today, 11.
Right now in downtown, 10 degrees and mostly cloudy. It's 11 and cloudy out at Pearson. 680 News Time, 10:54.
Imagine doing what you love and not doing what you don't love. AGM is hiring renovators. If you're a renovator with your own business who loves renovating more than business, managing construction more than managing papers, and wants more time with family.
All right, which fucking of the pedo's friends is watching right now? Because he's out front. Who's doing the animations on my face? What's the deal?
Trudeau is marking Mental Health Week, urging Canadians to end the stigma around mental health, especially through this pandemic.
Let's all make an effort to be there for one another during these challenging times. Let's reach out to someone who's struggling. Let's be kinder to one another. Let's check
None of that has anything to do with mental health.
Because by being there for each other, we will be able to come out of this crisis stronger together.
In addition to asking Canadians to look out for each other, he highlighted several measures the government has taken to improve mental health services for Canadians, such as the new online portal, Wellness Together. Coming up in business news in 60 seconds, a merger between two Canadian cannabis companies is complete.
680 News Time, 10:55.
Your employment rights with Lior Santhiru from employmentlawyer.ca.
If you lost your job during COVID-19, you may be entitled to significantly more compensation than you realize. Before the pandemic, 9 out of 10 employees were offered inadequate severance packages by their employer. Now, severance offers are more deficient than ever at a time when Canadians are in desperate need of support. Before you accept any severance offer, find out what you are truly owed. Otherwise, you could be leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table. Don't settle for what your employer wants to pay you. Get what the law says you should receive. Contact me at employmentlawyer.ca and
Chomo's big insult today is, oh, nice boobs. He's gonna fucking die. I don't think he realizes it. I know all you people think you're the first person ever to do what you're doing, and you don't believe people kill you for doing the things you're doing. What? Ask around this building about how many of your chomo ass has been thrown off the roof, eh?
Business report. Here's Chris McCullough. Sarah, that merger between cannabis companies Aphria and Tilray is now done, and this creates the world's largest cannabis company by revenue.
No, it doesn't.
Approval from shareholders of both companies.
Negative cash flow.
Company had a market cap of $8.2 billion as of the close on Friday. Now, shares in Aphria on Bay Street down by 4.3%. While U.S. listed shares in Tilray off by 4.2%. Now, the American shares in Tilray will continue to trade stateside, but that stock is also going to start trading in Canada on Wednesday. So a theme here, the marijuana stocks, by and large, moving lower today. The TSX, though, is higher by 135 points, 19,243. The gold stocks moving higher with gold itself up by $27. $17.95, and then oil is higher by $1, $64.59 a barrel. Now we are going to get new jobs data in Canada on Friday, and we could see a net loss of 350,000 jobs in April, thanks to a new round of lockdowns. Now, having said that, the Canadian dollar is still very close to a 3-year high. Right now, it's up by 13/100, 81.5 cents U.S. Andrew Pyle is Senior Wealth Advisor and Portfolio Manager at Scotia McLeod.
That is going to start to take a bit of a bite out of trade or net trade. So I think the Bank of Canada needs to tread carefully, and I think we need to remind ourselves that back in 2010, literally a year after we had our recession after the great financial crisis, the Bank of Canada did the same thing. It was first out of the gate in terms of tightening, and we know what happened. The bank had to pull back. So I think if the bank goes too soon here, we may be repeating a mistake that we made back after that episode.
Now, in the U.S., the Dow is higher by 285 points. The S&P is up by 23, and the NASDAQ just a few minutes ago was looking at a modest gain. Now it's in the red, down by 17. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
Businesses that run like clockwork establish routines they trust. That's
350,000 jobs. That's the same number. So what we normally have in Canada, about 350,000 people on employment insurance and 350,000 temporary foreign workers. So Chomo's big insult to me is, well, first, he always yells the things to me like they yell at children to do things, and kids just get scared and do it. So he's been, get the fuck out of here, piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here, piece of shit. He goes, nice boots. Did you get them in the garbage where you live? Like, he's trying. 5 insults in a row, he's trying, but that's as good as he got. So if you want to hit up a child molester, he's out front right now, looking very Chomo-y.
And it is causing delays for the 427 back to Dundas. In town, ongoing
That's
maintenance.
hip-hop slang. Hit up. It means
now until May 6th,
something.
Get 40,000 PC optimum points when you spend $125 or more on cosmetics at Shoppers Drug.
So some of you would ask, how is it I'm being evicted for being attacked by these people when this guy can throw blood in people's face and nothing happens? It's very simple. I don't want him evicted. So even the property managers that act like they run it, they're going to do whatever they want, still won't cross me if Barrasso would be... Hey, Vincenzo, how's life during COVID, Vincenzo?
640 Toronto.
You like having these Asian hookers run your life and steal your money from your family, stupid?
You're listening to Global News Radio 640 Toronto. This is Global News at 11 o'clock.
Good morning, I'm Dave Bradley. Still a chance we could see some showers this afternoon.
That can be a real
we could
name.
see more showers tomorrow, too. Before we get to the government's response to the Long-Term Care Commission's final report, there's good news and bad news when it comes to the latest numbers surrounding COVID-19.
Oh, there's good and bad, really.
3,436 new cases in the province today,
Yes,
which
keep
is
dumping,
down
Chomo. I know, there's obviously the Chomo in the building has friend. Yep, keep it up. Keep it up. Obviously the Chomo.
% of tests coming back positive at 9.
Yep, keep it up. Obviously, the Chomo in the building has friends because he got the software from somewhere. Stupid. You're a bunch of fucking child molesters. You're not hackers. Because you installed... Keep it up, Chomo. He's so angry. This person is incredibly angry right now. Pissed. Absolutely pissed. How dare I just said Chomo's outside. How dare he admit that he knows I'm here too? Yeah, I can see what you're doing. I can see it deadly clear. Keep it up. Keep it up. I want to move like this every fucking time, 2 minutes after I speak. Okay, it's a really bad Kung Fu movie, right? Yeah, because you're the racist. So, obviously Chomo has friends because he downloaded the software that we... Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep dumping, bro. Keep dumping. I want your autograph on my router, stupid. I want your IP addresses lined up in the logs. Yeah, that's right. That happens. Keep it up, Chomo. So obviously Chomo has friends. Oh, he's gonna get mad now. He's gonna make the alarm go off for 20 fucking minutes straight, right? What did I say? What did I say? Chomo's mad. Chomo's mad. How dare I say this person's a Chomo if I just said Chomo's out there? Obviously, Chomo has friends because he installed software we wrote. We wrote the software. We have no connections to this piece of shit. Somebody sold him the software. I'm gonna leave it. That's dong. That's an angry pedophile. What did I say? I spoke at the screen for 3 minutes straight, pausing and so on, over and over to say, keep it up, keep it up. And this happens. You saw my hands the whole time, or at least you saw they're nowhere near my keyboard. Hey, YouTube, why do you keep giving our IP addresses to Chomos? come I can hear that here, not on my phone. That's all.
People will be getting their second doses earlier.
We've now heard from the province today.
680's Momin Qureshi joins us live with more on what a key minister had to say this morning. Momin.
Sarah, the Minister of Long-Term Care, Dr. Marilee Fullerton, talking today about that report that was released late last week, which was pretty scathing, saying that long-term care homes were neglected, that there were staffing issues, that there were many other issues, that patients were neglected, and that some of them didn't even die from COVID. They just died from neglected dehydration.
Reusing syringes.
Talking about those issues.
To everyone impacted by
So I'm going to exceptionally piss off Chomo right now. I'm going to spend 20 minutes not turning this off. He's going to spend 20 minutes trying to turn it back on and getting confused.
And we will do right by you.
Where did Chomo go? He just took off to go do something different.
She was asked directly, will her government apologize for their role in this? Here is part of what was a 3-minute answer.
You know, I think collectively as a society, we need to do some soul searching and understand why, you know, it took a pandemic to address the capacity issues in long-term care, the staffing.
You hear it pausing and hesitating?
From the Ford government there, and Fullerton only taking questions from 3 reporters and then walking away.
Minister, can you say a little longer? There are more reporters on the phone line and the very anyone
We have 2 questions from the floor. We have people on the line who would like to ask you a question. I'm wondering why you're again.
And she did have to go to question period, which started at 10:30. Reporting live, I'm Momin Qureshi.
You're listening to 680 News. It's now 11:05. Well, as of 8 o'clock this morning, tens of thousands of more people in the GTA hotspots are now eligible to get their COVID vaccine. This is Ontario sees case counts below 4,000 for another day. 680's Irene Preckwood on the numbers for us. Joining us with that and more. Irene?
Steve, 3,436 new cases today. The 9th day in a row, we are below 1,000. The positivity rate 9.7%. That is a day-over-day increase, but lower than the past 2 Mondays. Just under 54,000.
20 minutes it took him to do the fucking up and down there. He's been at this 20 minutes.
Hotspots can now book an appointment if they are 18 or older, and that includes more than 100 postal codes, but many people are trying to book those appointments. So if you are trying to book, you could face a delay of more than an hour.
And whether you believe it or not, I did not turn off yet. Keep shutting my eyes. It's good. You're going to shut my eyes. So what? I won't know you're a pedophile?
We can, you know,
It's been chasing me 35 fucking years. 35 years. So believe what you want. I did not turn off the alarm.
As quickly as possible. So overall,
I told you, Chomo's going to spend 20 fucking minutes trying to counter me turning it off. He's going to keep turning it on, but there's only one signal. It's not on or off. It's just cycle. Oh, he's getting mad. He's getting mad. You don't know what you're doing with a computer. You just harass small children with it. And for some reason, you attract me. For some reason, you attract me. Yep, keep it up. Keep it up. For some reason, keep it up. Every time I look towards the screen, I want to see my head go like that. Yep, keep it up. Keep it up. For some reason, you attract me like magnets or bugs to bug zappers. Okay, this is nothing new. I know you from Cam H, stupid. Coming out the front fucking doors in the 80s, trying to talk to me. Yeah, how old was I? Right. So I don't know me. Yes, I do. You should have fucked off when you seen me. Go. Okay. Is this your way of trying to make peace? Oh, I'll put it back the way it was. No, I don't give a fuck, bro. You're a child molester that's been harassing me for 35 years. Come on, hurry up. Get a real computer. Get a real internet connection. Get a real internet connection, Chomo. You do this to fucking little kids all day, every day. We have clocked you for a year. You have done this 250,000 fucking times. That's how predictable child molesters are. That's how predictable and unintelligent and non-creative. You're not unique. You're all exactly the same. You have a copy of a bad gene, a mutation. Everybody knows it, a mutation, a bad gene. Everybody knows it. Yeah, up and down. Shut up, shut up. No. Go watch a different channel, stupid. Go fuck yourself. Go kill yourself. This is his way of telling me to shut up, to keep freezing up the screen and shit. I should do what he wants. Because somehow things will go good for you if you do what a rapist wants, right?
Right now in North York, hundreds of homes and businesses are without power. Toronto Hydro says the boundaries are from Steele south to Finch and from Bathurst east to Leslie. They're hoping to get the power restored by 6 o'clock this evening. Stay with 680 News for more on this developing story.
Well, to Ottawa now, where later today, the National Advisory Committee on Immunization is set to release its guidance for the single-use Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
That sounds very American. The National Advisory Commission. It's not even a committee, it's a commission. You know what the difference is?
To release its guidance to the provinces. This shot has been possibly linked to similar very rare blood clot concerns as the
has been possibly linked.
Advice on that shot has changed several times, and while provinces are not bound by this guidance, it has created some confusion in the vaccine rollout. And this also comes as Health Canada has paused distribution to provinces as it looks into potential quality control issues with the Johnson & Johnson shot due to other problems that have been linked to the U.S. plan.
I just got to show it.
MVP leader Jagmeet Singh says he has confidence in our regulator.
I trust Health Canada. I think they do an excellent job. And they've been...
Health Canada's got nothing to do with what they're talking about, stupid.
They'll give us advice that is in the best interest of Canadian.
Canada's also
okay, but what's Health Canada got to do with this commission, you fucking retard?
Weekly for the month of May. Next week, Moderna is due to ship 1 million doses to our country.
Our country.
680 News Time, 11:09.
Get ready.
Insurrection or riots, however you want to call it. The activities that the Proud Boys engaged in Canada and in the United States, it would be difficult to argue that they've met the definition of terrorist activity in our criminal code definition. You know, there's a little bit of nuance.
No, it wouldn't.
But it wasn't defined.
Wow.
The Capitol Hill
Miss White Supremacists, because women are always left out of white supremacism, right?
Example of terrorist activity conducted by members of the Proud Boys. So it became much easier for them to make that case. And so for CSIS and the RCMP, who have the ability to investigate terrorist activity,
CSIS has no ability to investigate anything.
It would have gone from awareness to potentially active investigations if that was deemed to be a priority for them.
And what about Donald Trump when he said, Proud Boys stand down and stand by? Would that up them on the radar as well?
Damn it.
Not necessarily.
You know, buddy, you get that piece of chocolate.
That they were engaging in beforehand. I think it certainly raised a lot
because the Proud Boys are active all over Facebook and shit, it's not CSIS, it's CSEC.
Particularly in the Canadian context,
CSE. Sorry, they changed the name 3 times. It's CES or CSE. They changed it again.
CSIS and the RCMP's attention.
It wouldn't be CSIS that investigates that at all.
Pretty well established by that point.
Okay, so Proud Boys Canada have announced that they've dissolved the group, that it no longer will be.
Kind of like the KKK skit in Saskatchewan. Somebody keeps fucking hurting these little pieces of shit, and threatening their families and shit, and burning down their houses and shit. I don't know who, but somebody keeps doing that shit all fucking day.
Proud Boys have a significant presence in the United States, a presence in Canada, but only Canada has taken the step to list them as a terrorist entity. And we know other terrorist organizations that groups engage in what we call sort of jurisdictional arbitrage. So that's a fancy word for saying they take advantage of different regulations in one country or different
arbitrage
laws in one country and another. So
I get my cigarettes cheap in one place.
The problem really is that the Proud Boys can continue to act and do whatever they want to do in the United States. They're not a designated terrorist entity. Some of their activities may rise the level of domestic terrorism in the States, that individuals may be under investigation, but as a whole, the group isn't. So, their ability to take advantage of those differences is a problem, and one of the reasons why counterterrorism is something that has to be undertaken collectively at the international level.
I would think that there's nothing stopping members from affiliating themselves via the internet with the Proud Boys in the U.S.
That's exactly it. So, individual membership in terrorist groups is not a crime in Canada, so they can still engage with Proud Boys themselves. The Proud Boys designation is not a solution. It does create problems for the group in Canada. It creates problems for the individual members. We talk about how that creates sort of friction for them in their daily lives. On its own, the designation obviously doesn't solve our terrorism or violent extremism problem, but it does make things a little bit more difficult for them. But part of that difficulty may be mitigated by the fact that they can engage with members of the United States.
Right. And so with the Proud Boys Canada saying that they've dissolved, they are no longer, the question remains, have they truly folded? Because we could see them being farther driven underground, the people that are members of these groups, or maybe they'll be absorbed into other extremist groups. What are your thoughts on this? And should we be wary that just because a statement is made does not mean that is the reality of an organization?
Yeah, I take this disbanding to mean that the Proud Boys won't be using that particular name. It doesn't mean that they've abandoned their extremist ideas. They're still, the individuals that were involved in it are probably still Islamophobic, probably still trying to promote, and I'm using air quotes, Western values, how they define that. They're still, in some cases, white supremacists. So this hasn't done anything to change the individual's worldview or ideology. They probably won't use that name. They may create a new group. Some of them may join other extremist organizations.
And I'll tell you what.
May also just walk away from the movement and the ideas, because frankly, getting a group that you're affiliated with listed on the same list as Al-Qaeda or the Islamic State can be a wake-up call for some individuals, but it's certainly no guarantee.
So what they're going to do is exactly what they did before, but since in Canada you have to have a name for your gang to get listed as a gang, they're now no longer in existence. So the Canadian government's going to say, well, they don't exist, so we don't have to put them on a terrorist list.
Yeah,
and that is an example of jurisdictional arbitrage.
It's a definite possibility. We see it all the time with other terrorist groups. They change their names all the time. The nice thing about our listing process
Thank you, miss.
If we determine that they're basically the same group, you can just list them as an alias under the same designation. So that happens all the time. But I think it's a bit soon to say in terms of what the Proud Boys are actually doing here in Canada and like what individual members, how they're moving forward after this designation. Rebranding is a possibility.
Wow. Jessica, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate your, informed opinion on what's happening with this headline, because it is a big headline when you hear about a designated terrorist entity saying that they've disbanded. It's a big announcement, and, it may or may not be true. So at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. But thanks so much for shedding light on this.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers. Jessica Davis is former senior strategic intelligence analyst with CSIS and president of Insight Threat Intelligence. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. I want to talk about something that over 1 million people watched happen live. SpaceX makes its first nighttime splashdown with astronauts since 1968. We'll talk about that. It's Global News Radio 640 Toronto.
This is Caleb.
Hi.
Caleb loves to speak in the third person.
Caleb sure does.
Caleb also loves his girlfriend, Jenny.
I'm going to make Jenny my life with an L.
So Caleb connected with a diamond specialist from Spence and created a one-of-a-kind engagement ring. And it's backed by the famous Spence Lifetime Guarantee, just in case.
In case of what? Caleb is feeling verklempt.
Read.
But they're hoping to get the power restored by 6 o'clock this evening.
So there's no confusion.
680 Sports, Sam from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Andrew.
Hey, is that water? Y'all got water?
Oh yeah, it felt kind of like that.
Winning with OLG brings out all the feels. Play today at olg.ca.
Everyday Canadians are buying homes and getting the wrong mortgage rates. Important announcement. If you have a home mortgage closing in the next 90 days, 1.15% 5-year variable rate mortgages are available at butlermortgage.ca. No matter what you were told or what you signed, you can still switch to 1.15% 5-year. No gimmicks, no fees. Standard mortgages at 1.15% 5-year variable. To learn if you qualify, go to butlermortgage.ca now.
License number 12118, high ratio variable rate, APR 1.16%.
We are Toronto's news talk leader. What do you think when you hear the term cancel culture?
Liberal and right-wing pundits
who have the loudest microphones in the world, they can't tell anybody about being silenced. Everything becomes about freedom of speech. Does the right and the liberal center not have anything else to fight about?
Alan Carter, weekdays at noon or anytime from Apple and Spotify podcasts. We are 640 Toronto.
What do guests think of Tim's new vanilla cream cold brew coffee?
It's like smooth, that's the vibe.
Velvety smooth. Tim's new cold brew coffee. Enjoy trying it. Enjoy describing it. It's time for Tim's at participating restaurants in Canada.
Your census invitation has arrived in the mail. Your participation will help plan programs and services for your community. Your census, your community, your future. A message from the Government of Canada.
How has business for you changed in the last year, even the last few months? Has your message kept up with these changes? Course Creative Services can help you reach your audience wherever they are. Find out how. CourseCreative.ca.
680 News Time, 11:19. Just another sign that things are slowly getting back to normal, while U.S.-based cruise ships are now preparing to take the sea again. In the port city of Galveston, Texas, the sound of...
They all been sold for scrap metal, because we're going to buy new ones when it's cheap. No, you're not.
From a fireboat, though.
You know what you could do with those cruise ships? You know what you could easily do? Because they market them as being for 2 people in each one, 4,000 people in a fucking boat, right? What if you only put 1 person in each one? Or maybe if it was like parents and a child, so people that are part of the same family unit. You could line these fucking boats up at these ports as hospital ships. You can do it for jails, but you won't do it for COVID, eh? Oh, Rikers Island. Oh.
For now, we'll have a look at the roads and we'll check.
And it's named that because number 1 from Star Trek was the first person ever in that jail.
That don't fit every small business, they fit yours. That's what it means to really listen.
Au départ, ça faisait partie d'un genre d'incantation pour appeler la pluie, les ouragans et susciter le renouveau. Et ce qui s'est passé, cette nation, donc les Séminoles ou Seminole en anglais, n'a jamais signé de traité avec l'administration fédérale américaine. Et il y a eu plusieurs guerres entre l'administration et cette nation autochtone au 19e siècle. Et ils ont dû se retrancher dans les Everglades. Et les Autochtones étaient embauchés pour pas beaucoup d'argent par des Blancs qui opéraient ces parcs thématiques. Et là, depuis quelques années, il y a comme on va se réapproprier ce rituel-là avec des parcs thématiques, mais développés et gérés par des Autochtones. Alors là, on arrive tout dans cette question, dans le fond, est-ce que c'est une réappropriation culturelle?
Ah, on vient de perdre Frédéric.
La lutte aux alligators, écoutez, c'est quelque chose qui se passe assez régulièrement en Floride et les images sont assez saisissantes. Évidemment, pour les Autochtones, on parle aussi d'une relation avec du respect envers l'animal, mais ça, je vous laisserai.
Oui, c'est ça. Dans un cadre de spectacle, c'est peut-être là où le bas blesse plus que le geste ou le rituel en soi.
Bees, Gardner, it's a heavily used ramp, especially.
And then back down for splashdown. The whole package from start to finish looks as if it was near picture perfect. And that is such good news.
The Australian and New Zealand.
It's good news as far as space tourism is concerned.
Ontario on the Express, both ways, the HO.
Mais pas juste dans Laurentide. Ben non, c'est ça, parce que, ben oui,
Okay, so what do we not have in Canada? We don't have like an army radio station. Okay, I guess not every place has it. We don't have like NOAA weather. We don't have that. Environment Canada. We don't have, what was the other one I was just thinking of?
East to Leslie and Finch, north to Steeles. A tree.
We don't have a Parliament radio. You know what I'm saying? What do we call it? The C-SPAN and CPAC. Well, CPAC is ours, right, Canadian?
Staying at home, you spend on your home. Increase your living space, finish your basement, call AGM now and get $5,000.
So what I'm basically getting at is there's all sorts of shit happening right now in this country that I can't bring you the feed from. I just know what's happening because I grew up here. So the 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, whatever morning update thing ain't gonna happen because they're in session in Queens Park. But that could end anytime, like 11 a.m., 8 p.m., somewhere in between. So there's no telling what's gonna happen. It's gonna be about this long-term care thing.
The mainly cloudy,
So Chomo fucked right off. That's interesting. Hey, it's 15:23 o'clock. No, that's interesting because he was up front and some other idiots harassing us here, and he fucked right off when I pointed out what he's doing. Yeah, if you attack this channel, use that IP grab or whatever you got off Tor, BitTor, you are in league with child molesters. The malware you're using works both ways. It's got a backdoor on your shit, and you're being, I guess I'll say, backtracked. And you are on a list of pedophiles and sex offenders and people that lure kids and all the rest of that shit, harass old people and all that shit, swap people, all that shit. That's the list you're on if you're using that software. Now, if you download it, keep it for later, and never use it, that's different. You're harassing me because you think it's funny that child molesters harass me because we kill child molesters and we're the group that never got hit up by the child molesters. We just fucking dummy them and take their money. You're in a bad place.
NASCAR win.
Look around. My real name, my real address, my real phone number. Come see me, stupid.
And our Simon Bennett is daring you this morning to say the race name without giggling just a little bit.
Among the sponsor-inspired race names this year, the beef, it's What's for Dinner 300. That actually happened. Busch Beer sponsoring yesterday's race in Kansas. Fans had 4 selections to choose from.
We heard that commercial, didn't we?
Guy. What, Duckman wasn't available? Okay, go ahead.
Let's get the Bushy McBush Race 400 underway.
Wait, what?
The Bushy McBush Race 400.
The Bushy McBush Race 400.
No, I'm reaching that point in my coffee where, okay, it's right there, but it feels like it's down to here.
The Bushy McBush Race 400. Wow, Kyle Busch won the Bushy McBush Race 400 on his birthday, by the way.
The Bushy McBush Race.
They popped out the bush.
Who do you know? Right now.
I'm Simon Bennett.
Coming up in just 60 seconds, we've got Chris McCusker standing by with the latest in business.
Get hooked on Bold Plus.
This is just random. This is shit I find in the road.
Plus so much more. Check out their massive showroom filled with an extensive inventory of industrial and safety supplies, such as abrasives, adhesives, and lubricants.
It was doing that at a distance of less than 11 million kilometers from the solar surface.
Oh, here it is.
The aim of the exercise here, Kelly, is for us to literally be inside the envelope of the sun's
He stole my snail
so that we
shells.
can monitor things like the solar wind, the magnetic fields in situ. We've been monitoring the sun from afar for a long time now, and it's time to get the details. The devil is in the
over there.
And
I can't see it, but it's over there. I know it's over there because the light's coming over here.
In these extreme environments, we've got to send the probe, and that's what the Parker probe is all about. And it passes ever closer to the sun twice a year. It's using Venus in a really interesting way. It's basically an anchor point, and as the probe comes away from the sun, it loops around Venus, redirects itself with a gravity assist, and zooms back into the corona sort of about 3 months later at a closer distance and at a faster speed. And it's going to continue to do that until 2025. Inching, that's probably not the right term, but getting closer towards the sun's surface every time its minimum distance is.
I have now.
Yes, you did.
Yes, so yes, Warren Buffett says that Vice Chairman Greg Abel will be his likely successor as the CEO at Berkshire Hathaway. Buffett pretty much confirmed the succession plan to CNBC today after the Berkshire Vice Chairman
Sir Richard Branson and Warren Buffett with Berkshire Hathaway, Virgin Galactic, all that shit, and Berkshire Hathaway. Keep an eye on those two. You don't have to buy into those two companies. Look at what they buy.
One other interesting thing to come out of
every fucking Jack in the Box, Louisiana kitchen bullshit fast food place on the side of the road, half of them are owned by Warren Buffett.
Dodging the question, he would only say, "I am all right on that one." In the past, he has said cryptocurrencies have no value. Right now, Bitcoin is a little higher. It's up by 1.5% to 57,917. Now, markets mostly looking at gains to start the new month. We do have the Dow up by 305, the S&P higher by 14, and the NASDAQ now down 68. It's off by about 0.5%, while the TSX is higher by 137, 19,245. A lot of earnings to come this week, including from Loblaw, Cineplex, and PayPal. Andrew Pyle is Senior Wealth Advisor and Portfolio Manager at Scotia McLeod.
This quarter that we're in right now, I think is going to be more of a telltale in terms of what is going to happen over the course of the year. So I would say investors are really focused on current economic data for this quarter, trends that we're seeing. For Canada, obviously, is what impact are the recent lockdowns, for example, in Ontario and the East Coast, going to have on activity this quarter and earnings this quarter, right? So I think Canada is going to be the anomaly relative to the States in the second quarter, and that we're probably going to see some weakness in several measures and metrics that we look at.
Now, the price for gold is higher by $25 right now, $17.92.
Now, the difference is gold is a whole lot of people
right now up by 3.
that are basically reputable, and at least in terms of reporting what they paid for something.
The European Union
Bitcoin, the price is being reported by the person who sold it,
and then the Canadian dollar's higher
who's also trying to sell a whole bunch more.
81.46 cents US. I'm Chris McCusker.
And not being money, it's not subject to any of the rules about owning more than 10% of a company or financial services laundering, know your clients, or any of that shit.
We're here to listen. Whether you like a hard mattress and your husband likes a soft one, your daughter's back from school and all of a sudden she needs a bedroom, or you...
It's not planned to go beyond 2025.
So, Paul, one last question for you, because we started off with a story about SpaceX, and Elon Musk, who we know is the mastermind behind SpaceX. Are you going to watch him host on SNL this weekend? Is that something that you and your astronomy...
Tell us how much it sucks. Tell us how much it sucks.
Am I allowed to say I'm not a big fan of him hosting things? I have a lot of time for SpaceX and I have a lot of time for Elon, but his hosting capabilities, I think I'm going to have other plans for Saturday night. I'll wait for his rerun.
All right. Well, it is. He wasn't sure if it was live either, so reruns are okay. Paul, thanks so much.
Yeah,
I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome, Kelly. Have a good day.
You too. That's Paul Delaney. He's our 6'4".
You know why these people go on and on and on about Saturday Night Live? Well, their parents were drunks, and some of them cokeheads, and they were drunks and cokeheads. Okay, so there wasn't a whole lot on TV back then. Saturday night, and it's live. Wow. So, in the 90s, a show came out called I just had 6 different shows. I'm pretty sure it's in living color, but I just had a brain snap. Yeah, black people's version of Saturday Night Live, if you will. I hate saying it that way because putting on comedy shows. Yeah, even the white people got to put blackface on before. Yeah, we know. I find it hilarious sometimes. I love Rochester off the Jack Benny show. That's neither here nor there. So, all these people, white supremacists that they are, scientists are not white supremacists. Okay, as white as the guy may have been that was just talking, they don't see a place for racism. So they know that your skin color ain't got fuck all to do with being more likely to survive or being smarter or anything else. Unless you're being targeted based on skin color, then that's the only time that would happen. So all these people just no living color. No, I don't want to see living color. No. Think of the age when that show was on, how old they would have been and how old they are now. So Saturday Night Live, that's for white people. Saturday Night Live, right? But see, they don't know because they weren't actually watching SNL. They were watching our shows or whatever the fuck else was on. They don't actually know that the show sucked for 25, 35 fucking years straight. It did. It sucked. Every fucking episode sucked. I don't know before 1990 if it was kind of good. If you were high on coke and heroin mixed together, you thought it was funny. I know there was a lot of rules what you could and couldn't get away with on TV back then, but it sucked. It's not funny. It's just not funny. And some of those skits, like the odd time I've tuned in, I've seen some of the same skits 20, 30 fucking times, and it's not funny. I don't mean the exact same recording. I mean the actors are playing the same skit out 2, 3 dozen times. It's not funny. It's never been funny. It's only funny if you're sitting there watching your parents drunk and high on coke laughing at it, and so you start laughing at it. Like, it's not funny. But like people that hang out in groups because they're scared to stand on their own, always laughing at the joke of the guy in charge, even though it don't make sense. That kind of shit. It's all white supremacy. Supremacism or whatever.
Queen's Key to the...
You snap this one right off and it's dying.
Next 11 at 11, Robbie with your Roberta Flack right there at number 17, Killing Me softly.
Number 17.
Johnny Nash kicked off this set with Stir It Up at number 16. Steelers Wheel, the number 18 song in 1973.
Oh, you know what he's doing? He's playing in what we would call reverse order. He's going from the number one song down for each decade. They pick a week out of each decade for. That's what they're doing today.
Did say that her government hears you and will do right.
Jokers to the right, here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Yes, I'm stuck in the middle with you. And I'm wondering what it is.
And my cousin on tape cutting up a pig with a dirty razor blade.
I'm all over the place. Clowns to the left, jokers to the right, here I am, stuck in the middle with you. When you started, I was nothing, and you found that you're a sacred man. And you feel the alcohol coming, slap you on the back and say,
It sounds like a drumstick hitting a cowbell. It'll come back. It'll come back. It's got something to do with the CN Tower. All the stations do that. See. The mixing.
I got the feeling of something right. I'm so scared, I guess I'll fall in my chair. And I'm wondering how I'll get downstairs.
If I write my official government reports on these, the correct color, as long as I use a blue or black pen, this is legal, sir. This is legit. A whole bunch of them.
Stuck in the middle with you, Steelers Wheel at number 18 on the next 11 at 11. And the next two songs are from one of Canada's finest songbirds, if I can put it that way, and also one of the most respected blues rock bands at number 19 and 20. You'll see they're going to happen.
COVID lockdown has not stopped Maryland. Introducing Maryland's Comfort Wear by Up, featuring jackets, pants, and tops in a comfortable, washable bed.
So this is an example of nepotism.
Feels, looks, and combines to make more than 24 outfits with just 8 items. Start with a jacket, bra-friendly tank, and pants for $180, or a wardrobe package for...
Zoomers, retirees with money, the people that get the... Okay, so what do you call the America's the AARP? We've got like the CARP or so the CARP or the crap or whatever. These people got money. That's so they want to spend it. So you got Moses Nyman here sold out everything he owns but this radio station and his marijuana plantation in Flin Flon, Manitoba. So his kids have to advertise clothing on the radio station.
Through Burgundy and Provence on the luxurious
Bathurst east to Leslie, and it's going to take.
Almost got it rolled and lit.
Yesterday time of restoration at this point is at 6 o'clock tonight. We'll keep you updated if that changes.
Well, the provinces are going to be getting new advice on the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine today as distribution of the shot remains on hold. Let's get more from our Parliament Hill reporter, Cormac McSweeney.
We still don't know when Health Canada will release the Johnson & Johnson vaccine to the provinces, but in the meantime, the National Advisory Committee on
How did every country pick red, white, and blue for their flag, and they all go at war with each other traditionally? That's all I'm thinking of, is blue.
Like it has for the AstraZeneca vaccine, given
I got black and orange, so I look like a pylon.
To a very rare
it's like black and red for IS, but it's not.
Has approved both shots
it is, but it's orange.
Provinces make the final call.
I got blue and white and
Canada has paused distribution of 300,000 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine for other quality control concerns, given they came from a U.S. plant that has made mistakes that forced the destruction of 15 million other doses. NDP leader.
Do you hear the reasoning? Oh, well, they already fucked up once, so maybe we should look at this. You're supposed to look at possible problems. Hazard analysis.
That's been approved by Health Canada will be safe, and definitely take it as soon as you can. While this vaccine is on hold, Canada is receiving 2 million doses of Pfizer each week in the month of May, and Moderna is shipping 1 million doses next week. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time, 11:39.
Share more with family with CIBC Global Money Transfer.
Oh, it's my bandana. It's dripping water on me.
With the support of family. With CIBC Global Money Transfer, we have 0 transfer fees. So more of your money goes to thanking those who matter most. Share more.
I need to send a Toyota gift card to Syria.
CIBC.com/global transfer today. And now, get $50 back on your first transfer with promo code GMT50. It's our way to share too. Conditions and CIBC foreign exchange rates apply. Now the 680 News gas price update. Tesla predicts the price won't change at midnight. It'll stay at $1.29.9 a liter. 680 News Time, 11:40.
Attention passengers, this is your captain speaking. Looks like we have a full cabin today.
I'm gonna guess it's $1.25 at the corner, because it's usually 5 cents lower than the average.
Stop.
The 2021 Ford Explorer with available seating for up to 7 and standard intelligent 4-wheel drive. It's tracked.
Now listen, for white people music, you're gonna like this still. And I know it's influenced by, I know, but U.S. white people, they think this was white people music. I guarantee they would. Four white boys that let it sing like Coldplay. I know, I say the dumbest shit, I know. The difference is, I know some of what I'm saying is stupid. Most of these people don't realize how stupid what they're saying is.
Sixth, get 40,000 PC Optimum points when you spend 120.
If you ask me to name the band, I will try and try and try, and I won't get it. I know I won't. I'm so sorry. You'll tell us in a minute. Uh-oh. That's not airtight, is it? I don't think it's airtight. There's a problem here. The finest tobacco grown on the upper levels of the ship, sir. Everything stacks. Everything stacks perfectly because of Rabbi Samar in India.
The Edgar Winter group at number 19 in Frankenstein, or Frankenstein if you like, and the number 20 song, Anne Murray, and Danny's song.
Is that, that's who that was? That's what that was.
With a relaxing massage chair from RelaxaCare, Canada's massage chair specialists. Choose from
I think this bag as a whole, but I'm not sure. By the way, smoking causes lung cancer, heart disease, emphysema, may complicate pregnancy. That comes from the Surgeon General.
Now, being stuck at home doesn't need to be so stressful. Order today at relaxacare.ca.
The Surgeon General, he must be in charge of a whole shitload of surgeons. Up here we got chief supervisors. Even the chiefs got supervisors. Imagine that. Imagine that. I am pretty certain this is leaking.
No clutter? Just cause. There's all-in pricing from our trusted sellers too, and all purchases are protected by a compensation fund. Find your gem at OntarioCars.ca.
Toronto's news.
What did I just do here?
Sky downtown Toronto, it's 11 degrees. Good morning, I'm Sarah Parris. Here are the top stories this hour.
Oh, this is no good.
Well, the Minister of Long-Term Care has responded to that damning report released Friday that outlines how the government neglected Ontario's nursing homes before and after the pandemic hit. Dr. Marilee Fullerton, who sidestepped a lot of questions today, says fixing this problem will take many solutions, but never offered up an apology. Ontario is seeing a 9th day in a row of fewer than 4,000.
Because any human would say, I'm sorry. You feel sorry. When you, that's, you really feel it. They're not human. They think, oh, if we say I'm sorry, that means we're saying we did it. Well, you sort of did, but that wasn't the point.
You can find a list of them posted at 680news.com. And coming up after sports.
How much coffee is too much coffee? Well, a new study says 5 cups a day is the optimal amount to improve performance.
How many ounces in those cups, you piece of shit?
Might not be for everyone, though.
This is 5 4-ounce cups of coffee. What am I talking about? My coffee pot is listed as 4.5 ounces per cup.
The Maple Leafs shoot for 6 wins in a row tonight when they face.
I've got a coffee machine here. It says 4.5 ounces per cup or some shit like that. I'm not even joking. So this would be 5 cups of coffee, wouldn't it? 2.5 ounces more would be 5. Although you put a ½ ounce maybe of sugar and cream, probably. That's not much of a variance, eh? Since most people who want this dark roast and all this other bullshit that reduces the caffeine.
His mom was in a long-term care facility. He worked in the radio business and knew that Frank Leo and Associates, #1 Remax team in Toronto in the GTA for home sold.
His mom was in a long-term care home. He worked in radio. Oh, this should be good. And he needed to sell his condo. Motherfucker. So if you want to know why this Leo guy is just taking off, he's been advertising hardcore for like 2-3 years. Brad J. Lamb is a slumlord and a cokehead. And 8 people just got kicked out of their apartments because he was renting out apartments that were, so I don't know how to put this. It's illegal to put apartments above a garage. A car mechanics. You don't think about it when you roll by and see it, but those units above that space above the garage, you cannot use it for living, for housing, because of carbon monoxide. The odds are there will at some point be a carbon monoxide leak. So He illegally rented this shit out to people above a fucking body shop or whatever. And I see all you people with your rich kid cars. They're not expensive per se. You spend lots of money doing stupid shit to it out front of this place, 1409 Bloor. It's so creative to use the address as the name of your business. It is, because you get shut down or have to move, you just open up with a new name. It's a new address. Very creative. So one of these people was a single mother with 2 kids. Made them all homeless. And in order to make it go away as quickly as possible, he gave them back their like last month's rent or however much rent they had paid, just gave it to them, which is almost nothing compared to the fines he should get. And by the way, your landlord, once you pay your rent, your landlord's legally responsible to house you. If this building falls down, they're required to get us all hotel rooms. Required to. Does it happen? No, it never happens. They're required to, but it never happens. It's no different than you're responsible for a child till they reach the age of majority, which is 18. But people throw their kids out at 16, and at the time, the age of consent was 14. And there's 4 years there. You can't 2 to 4 years, whatever. You cannot get money out the government for any reason. And no matter what you do, the authorities will do nothing in regards to your parents or children's aid or anything. You just get to be homeless. Go be a prostitute, stupid. Huh, okay, how about I just stab you? Because I know you work at the courthouse, buddy. You work at Queen's Park. I'll get you. You remember me now, stupid? Remember me now? Shit all this off, stupid.
I like to call it the guacacado because mainly we use avocados to make guacamole in our family.
So when these people, these high up so-called power positions of authority say things about me, just remember where it's coming from. They can say whatever they want, but he's like this and he's like that. Yes, sir, but the allegations you're making against you, they ring true, and there's evidence. Let them say whatever the fuck they want. What were they doing down on a crack corner at 2 in the morning for me to say what I got to say about them? If they're responding, well, you must be a homeless crackhead. Well, I'm not, but I just want to know, what were you doing down there for me to even be able to make my allegations? You all used to chase little kids for sex. You got caught, and then you tried to. Shomo's getting mad, and we just lost audio, didn't we? No. Keep it up, Chomo. Keep the address, dummy. What did I say? I'm about to light a joint, so he's gonna fucking lose his goddamn mind. I played the white supremacist music. That's okay. You done, stupid? Yes. Every time I look.
Just another day in the life. You can hate if you want, but what I do to you, it's just another day. It's just another day. It's just another day in the life. Just another day in the life. And if you don't know me, then they devote you. It's just another day. It's just another day. As I get so much, not even time can tell. So I'm writing in my notebook, and I don't even tell. I'm trying to get myself on a whole nother game, but I'm stuck in the middle, and I'm not even middle, man. I'm like with no effort.
Holy fuck, bro. What is wrong with you? What did I just say? What did I just fucking say? What did I just fucking say? What did I literally just fucking say, stupid? What did I literally just fucking say, stupid? If I play white supremacist music, you're okay with it. As soon as I try to, you start dumping and dumping and die. I said I'm lighting a joint and press the fucking thing. All of a sudden, all hell breaks loose on my screen. And every time I turn my head this way, yeah, every time I keep doing it, you can't time it right. If I do something that, if I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, in order for you to time it. You keep trying to clock me. You've been trying to clock me since I was a teenager. You've been telling me you know what I'm doing since I was, yep, keep it up. Since I was about 11 years old, you've been at this. Keep it up. So every time my face turns to here, you lose your fucking mind and hit the button on your software, eh? Right. Okay. Are you fucking done, Chomo? No? You're going to keep this up? How come the audio is still running? How come that exploit don't work? How come it takes you 4.5 fucking minutes to make the stupid bar go up and down? You fucking done, stupid? talking to real hackers, dumbass? You're talking to real hackers, stupid. Yeah, I'm gonna stop it again. I'll just keep stopping it. I'll waste your whole fucking day, Chomo. You're talking to real hackers. My software is on your phone, and your phone is contacting my fucking computer. We're real hackers, dumbass. You can't. Oh, you're mad. You're mad. But you can't get that software off of there. We gave you no incentive to take it off. Gave you every disincentive to keep it on there. And you'll never remove it. When you finally get around to trying to remove it, you'll find you can't. That phone's going to be used against you, Doug. That phone's going to be used. Yeah, keep it up. Keep closing my eyes. Well, close your eyes. And what? When you first met, yeah, keep it up. Yeah, yep. Did you catch that? Did you catch how slow that was? And the bar comes up and down. So the first 20 years you harassed me, I couldn't see for shit. The first 20 years you harassed me, I couldn't see for shit. So you'll close my eyes means nothing. You were fighting a blind man for the first 20 years you've been doing this. You're fucking retarded. You're fucking stupid. You're gonna close my eyes. Okay, so you haven't paid attention. You stalk me, but you don't learn anything from the things I post, eh? Let's see how quickly it responds now.
Just another day in the life.
Fucking pathetic.
You're now about to witness the strength of street knowledge. Like we always do around this time.
Like we always do around this time.
That's it. You'll look at fat with it is. Let's go. Like 50, I don't back down. Looking for me, gun up with the head down. Two guns in the booth when I bet now. No fair ones if they act wild. Twerk for me and fuck who I came with. Make sure all your friends on the same shit. Fuck a gang, don't care who you bang with. I'm from North, everywhere else ain't shit. OGs still come through. Pull up with your bitch and they want to. Doesn't wanna come around when it's real dark. End up on the ground and it's real talk. No fingertips, bro, I don't feel y'all.
When you see me doing this, I'm testing to see if Chomo's still gonna do his thing.
I'm the boss, so don't fuck my dough up. One shot, 2 shots, 20 more. Another 2 coming through, 24. One balance, got it, load it up. New dot,
So when you see, if you hear me saying I just called, you're gonna do that, and I didn't actually verbally say it, I caught myself a couple times because I didn't actually say it. When I'm looking at the screen doing this over and over, I'm triggering Chomo to show he's fucking there. Yeah, he's been doing this for a year, still hasn't figured out I'm doing that on purpose.
When they say that, these niggas ain't loyal, I don't play that. Give a pack to a cat, you don't pay back. Now you gotta bring it back and you lay that. One smack, then trash, we stay at. Send his kids straight to hell, we pray that. Got shooters, stupid niggas wanna bang out. No bluff, got niggas let them hang out. Got a dark-skinned chick that she loves, yeah. She be riding this dick like the subway. Slow grind, but she love it the rough way. Hit a line when I'm having a tough day. Have her out with the bums and the thugs play. So flip, I'ma get her on a one guy. We can do something like that one day. Right now, right there to the gunplay. One shot, 2 shots, we be going in. Go stash all the cash and it's pouring in. I be getting that bag either way, bro. Like the hoes with the ass like J-Lo. J-Lo could rap, but she does that. Let her get her nut first, then I bust back. She said, let's wait for a fun day. But right now, right there to the gunplay. One shot, 2 shots, better duck down. Was a good man, I don't give a fuck now. Stay high, met the plug on Clinton now. Think I'm paying for this now, he ain't getting mad. Say give it all up, now he getting mad. They gon' find his whole body for split.
See the difference when it's not treated with flame retardants? Yeah, it's still burning.
Gunshot liquor.
I lit it, set it down, pick it up, it's already gone out. And I'm not supposed to notice it's straight plastic on it.
Your homie got hit, he was riding like the chauffeur. Planet of the apes, I was blood clot cold. Broke pop, come with a strap, swing off the shoulder. And the cock is shutting, the lid is giving you closure. You ever get close, something coming out the holster. People ride the train, they gon' see you on a poster. We poster, but you never talk on what we approach. Get the black go online, and now you're doing the most. Kill him in my yard, nigga, like I could host. Didn't notice they pull guns when you thought you could roast. Just a dose. Know you love niggas, need some milligrams. Sitting with a milli, he be posting it on Instagram. Dust ass, love me selling quarters out the kilogram. Chrome polish so good, swear I used to pillow fat, baby. Fried chicken, oxtail gravy, shaking up the crown like an earthquake in Haiti. Top Toronto rappers like how you niggas don't see me, you got it. Straight yourself trying to play me. I said I wasn't sick, but I'm sick though. I give you gangster, it's a pit bull, and young boy can't stop squeezing, he got a shit load. Let's be with the hammers. Shorty in the kitchen, chicken like Louisiana, killer like Diana. I go to sleep with a rifle in my pajamas. I was childish, but my Gambino no Atlanta. Gunshot for your head time. For grind, nigga, TG. Man, them niggas that we beefin' is so lame. I run with them clips, my guns blast and it spit like old days. 4 white boys who let it sing like Coldplay. I sat back and got a flashback on my old ways like Blacka. 30 shots up in the fucking chopper. He got shot but shot back and couldn't see the doctor. Nigga bled out, cause nigga how was fed up. Remembering the day my brother got it, couldn't get him. So I went and got a Mac 11, see me just a weather. And 2 bad light-skinned bitches with a sweater. My city getting crazy, and nigga. Mom's losing they babies, I know the pain to have to carry my nigga to a place to get to bury my nigga. Fuck, but since then, we got a couple heads to bury the trigger. It's like what I keep a gun for, cause in these streets it's a blood sport. Not to mention links from the gun store. You shouldn't have brought him here, the kitchen bodies here. As soon as niggas slap that metal on that bottom here, I need no one, I'll blast it by myself. And I'll keep beating metal to the plastic on them milk. Shoot shots to the pin break, niggas been fake. And my target is that big J. Shotgun test.
They're not talking about the guy getting pulled out of the for he gave a character reference for somebody that assaulted another person's wife or some shit.
And does not issue an apology in response to that scathing report that says governments neglected long-term care homes.
For the 9th day in a row, Ontario reports fewer than 4,000 new COVID-19 cases. This is vaccinations open up for those 18 and older in certain hotspots.
The National Advisory Committee on Immunization will release its advice on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine as distribution of the...
I'm Alan Carter. I'm going to tell you why Ryerson University is now tying itself in knots as a result of Saturday's dinner date. It's after the news, and it's delicious.
Radio 640 Toronto, a Chorus Entertainment Company. You're listening to Global News Radio 640 Toronto. This is Global News at noon.
Good afternoon, I'm Danny Longo. It's cloudy and 11 degrees. Ontario's Minister of Long-Term Care says that she's grateful for the Independent Commission's report on
Eastbound on the... Step down from that post. She certainly has not done her job.
Long-term care responded.
Thank you, Speaker. As I've said many times, I take responsibility.
As I
took
have
responsibility for
said
this before.
many
I even got
times,
to politics.
retard.
Understanding and researching long-term care for almost 14 years to understand what we can do.
More on the Long-Term Care Commission report and reaction coming up after the news on Zoomer Radio.
Processes on taking action, which she says just wasn't a match for the speed of COVID-19. Fullerton says she is committed to fixing problems with long-term care.
On the Gardner, westbound on the pole.
Reporting 3,436 new cases, 16 more deaths. Of the new cases, 985 are in Toronto, 714 in Peel Region, 351 in York, 271 in
This many deaths of the new cases, comma. You people don't pause.
89 are in ICUs.
You don't pause appropriately.
the right thing now and resign. Step down from that post. She certainly has not done her job.
The Fullerton responded by saying she does take responsibility for the issues in long-term care.
The key component to addressing this
Extended care nursing home fire.
Is the action of
Google
taking
Books.
responsibility. That's exactly
Adrian Van Den
what we're
Kerkhoff.
doing.
Ontario
30
reporting
people died.
3,436 new cases of COVID-19 today and 16 more deaths attributed to the novel coronavirus. There were 985 new cases in Toronto, 714 in Peel Region. Health Department says 1,925 people are in hospital with the disease, but notes that more than 10% of hospitals didn't submit data over the weekend. More than 53,000 doses of a COVID-19 vaccine had been administered.
Daughter of a former nurse who talked about how her mother was left to lie in soiled diapers without even a blanket to cover her, with her hand up trying to get someone's attention. The report is especially hard on Chief
You think I'm
Medical
going to go to
Officer
hell
David Williams
for waving around the things we wave around? You think I'm going to hell? Okay.
The report acknowledges that she foresaw
When
the
I show up at the
deadly
table, you better move
consequences,
over
but
out of my
acted
seat.
like a good soldier, following orders when she was overruled. She kept asking in her media
Canadian forces are
this
trained
morning,
to disobey
why is
an
it
unlawful
taking
order.
so long to
If
address?
somehow the
Who
order
is
comes
she
across as
asking
unlawful,
this of?
you're
She
supposed to
is
disobey
the
it.
person in charge of addressing this. We know that the
Which means all you
problems do
bootlickers
incapacitate this government, but this
have already
government,
committed enough to get booted out.
quote Jane
No matter
Meeks,
how
the
high up you are in the
advocacy,
ranks.
the institutional advocate for the elderly, poured gasoline on the flames. The minister also kept referring to collective responsibility. Who's the collective? You know, I'm about to talk to CARP, and it
All of
has
us,
been
but I don't
sounding
feel bad because I've been screaming about this on this channel for 2 fucking years, among other things. Oh yeah, go back and look.
The pandemic.
I've
So
posted links
how
to
do
that
we
Google
share
Books
blame with the government that
synopsis
cut back on
my
inspections
Facebook, everything.
and failed to put in the necessary staff and infection control measures even after the first wave to prepare for the second? They didn't do that either. What do you think? 416-360-0740, toll free 1-866-740-4740. And now let's go to the Zoomer squad. David Kravitz, Vice President of Zoomer Media and Chief Membership
Now remember, this station is marketed towards older people. That may, when even if you have money, you could still end up in a long-term care home because you need 24-hour care. It might not be about money. And these people have lived long enough to know that. It's young people that don't believe that.
And now presumably you've had a chance to watch the minister's response. What do you think?
Well, it's obvious that her strategy and her marching orders is to lean heavily on the first half of the report, because it is true, they can say that many years of neglect, many government regimes.
And where were you at that time? What were you doing? Nothing, eh? Because I was screaming about this shit.
That are even more horrifying than we knew about as to the past. So she's completely within her rights to
extended care nursing home fire. Okay, so all the things you need to make a building safe for fires also applies to like threats like, let's say, a gas leak, a pathogen in the air, anything where you have to shut the windows, whatever. It applies to that stuff. It applies to disease prevention. Yes, it does. It applies to disease prevention, proper pressurized ventilation with fire cell construction, and door closers, doors that close and have proper weather stripping on them. You need all of that for fire control. You need it all for disease prevention too. You can't put 30 people in one room like this size, for example, because they would all die if a fire started. Right. Same thing for disease. Right. Hey, he's got a fucking point, hasn't he? So we knew all this in 1980.
Any of your questions? I don't need to answer any of your questions. You know, if you're lucky, I might. At the attitude from the Minister of Long-Term Care in this province this morning to reporters. The Long-Term Care Commission report came out late Friday night. This was the absolute
I think the biggest.
I'd have to wait 2.5 fucking days
to
to do this.
So that is where, of course, government puts out bad information late on a Friday.
And in the meantime, I've been cleaning up the neighborhood as best I can.
What happened with the Long-Term Care Commission is they didn't actually hand over the report to the government till like 6 p.m. and then the government's like, well, we'll get back to you. And so the thing doesn't even come out till 8 p.m. on a Friday night. And you know that, you're probably half in the bag by that point. I mean, if you got kids at home, no kidding, right? You're into the Chablis. So you probably didn't hear anything about it. So then this morning, for the first time, the Minister of Long-Term Care, Mary Fullerton, is there to answer some questions about the report. Here from our globalnews.ca.
Into an illegal monopoly that squeezes the app developers for a significant slice of their earnings.
This is your concern right now.
The science table, the policy, they weren't even at the table till several weeks into COVID. And throughout this report, you see examples of an email they sent here asking the Minister of Health, please include us in your communication strategy. Why didn't you check with us about this? Nobody paid any attention to them at the beginning. The government and the Ministry of Health was obsessed with the hospitals only. That's where the problem was going to be. Nobody paid any attention. And I think her biggest failing was she didn't either have the clout or whether it's the personality or the clout or the manpower to make her portfolio important enough at the beginning, so they all bypassed her. And she could, other than standing up once and refusing to do a video saying that the risk was low because she thought it was high, to her credit, she didn't do that video that they asked her to do. The rest of the time, she was a voice that was unheard, and I think that's the biggest failing. At the very, very beginning, she didn't make her constituency important enough in the powers that be in the healthcare system.
Well, that's right. I mean, she acknowledged, I don't know if acknowledge is the right word, she confirmed that at the beginning, they did what they are doing again now, which is moving more people from hospitals into long-term care, even though long-term care is not in a position to handle them.
Exactly. They never got over their obsession with that. And then Williams, who really, he's the one individual, I think, that gets the most scathing treatment in the report. He never believed in community spread and an asymptomatic infection risk, which she did believe in. He didn't until practically the first summer. He kept on saying, no. And Yaffe, his assistant, who was also criticized in the report, no, it's not going to happen that way, and yet it did.
For what they have provided as a guide, and we will move forward. So appreciate everyone's interest. Thank you.
Minister, can you say a little louder?
Time now for traffic into.
We have two questions from the floor, and we have people on the line who would like to ask some questions. I'm wondering why you're running out.
I'm wondering why you are running out, and that is precisely what she did. She packed up her books and her binders, and she walked away. Took, I think, questions from 2 reporters and did not actually answer the questions that she was asked. Now, why are you running out? The answer to that question came from Ford's office, who said it's pretty simple. It was time for question period, and there would have been an uproar if the minister was not in question period. Question period begins at 10:30 in the morning, so it was time for question period, therefore the minister had to go. To which the press corps points out, you could have held the press conference at 9:45. You could have started the press conference at 9:30, would have been ample time to answer questions, but by scheduling at 10 o'clock, you knew there was only a half an hour. You knew that...
At
Eastbound 401 is
standardizing or prioritizing PPE in long-term care, and to have missed even mentioning that today makes us really worried whether they really will do anything about it.
Well, she did sort of mention it, but David, we all know that between the first and the second waves in Quebec, they made sure that there was an infection control officer in every home.
They made sure of that, and they were recommended to do that in April to start assigning, because we were shocked to find out that many of the homes had no training. Nobody, even the medical directors of these homes, are not required to know anything about the specialty of how to institute infection prevention and control. It tends to be better done, of course, at the hospitals. And they recommended back in April to set up a spoken hub where each home would get training from the
Occupational Health and Safety Act and regulations for industrial establishments. Now, it's not the same part of the law that applies to, but there's equivalent rules for every fucking building and workplace in the province.
Where I don't know whether they have the means to execute. It's time for her to say, he recommends.
Mine is from the year 2001, but
the only problem was whether
I'll put it this way, the rules should only get better and not worse, right? They should.
Can they execute it even if they want to? There's so much organizational chaos in there that we've learned from this report that I really
kind of like the Sinaloa cartel and the other guys.
To fulfill this even if they want to.
Well, it's...
David's right. She claims, she said herself, she came into politics to fix long-term care, but then she talked about things like that, quote, slow-moving government bureaucracy is the reason she couldn't change, or she said we must understand our processes. She sounded like she was powerless, but as David said, as long-term care minister, she's powerless to make anything happen. She's a doctor, she's a medical doctor, and doctors are trained to say, this is your problem, this is what you should do, now go and do it. And I said she's totally frustrated that she can't put the actions in that she knows are necessary.
Well, I don't understand, in a situation like that, particularly she's a doctor, like she'll be able to put food on the table, presumably. If this is what you run into, you make a big fuss. That's why people resign. Let's take a call from Pat. Let's take a call from Pat in Toronto. Hi, Pat.
All right.
This is Zoomer Radio. It's targeted towards retired people
Comments here.
That have money.
I think people
and that use the internet.
Difference between government and management. And obviously, she came into government. She can't change the management. I mean, there's a structure. And, I realize it frustrates people, but they have to understand that. And you don't necessarily get the best people working in government. And I think that's what's been shown here. And, I feel very sorry for the lady. Probably what she should have done is, if she felt strongly about it, is resigned and left to say, look, this thing's out of control. But otherwise, she's dealing with weak people below her. She's dealing with no money. Money is short. And, we talk about fixing this. We can fix it, but it's going to cost a lot of money. And who's going to pay? That's the big issue. But I think everybody's missing the difference between governance, management, and the separation that the person is in when you're an elected official.
Okay, Pat. Again, what's coming to mind? The person coming to mind is Jane Philpott.
Well, that's right. Who resigned?
Yeah.
No, I think Pat's right. I think the caller's right at what point, though, are the taxpayers entitled to say, look, we need outcomes here? This was a case where the outcomes were disastrous. It cost human lives. And he's right about management. The best example, real quick, earlier in the report, they said that the government actually had a 4-year plan called the Resilience and Ready Healthcare, where they identified pre-COVID, this straddles Win and Ford, the civil service identified that in the event of any emergency, the system was too fragmented and too disorganized. We better figure out how to coordinate this in case there's ever an emergency. They had a written intent to do that. It took them 4 years to do it. And the commission asked Helen Angus, the Deputy Minister of Health, and Christine Elliott, the Minister of Health, had asked them, why did you waste 4 years of all this work and never implement this plan? No answer.
No answer.
No answer. So even when they were doing something, when they saw what was going to happen, they couldn't do it or didn't do it.
They seem to have an idea for reorganizing the way long-term care is done in the province. What do you think of that, David?
Well, I think Commissioner Morocco, they had a very interesting idea that said separate out, he did deal with this whole public-private thing, and he said separate out the building of the buildings from the management, the same way you hire private companies to build courthouses or even hospitals, and you pay them a fee that gives them a return on their investment as the builder, but then the people managing it are managing with a service in mind and not an ROI, return on investment in mind. And it was a very interesting idea, and she did allude to it briefly this morning. Fullerton is something they were looking into, and they'd had a positive response. It would be an interesting way of, increasing the capacity, taking advantage of private capital, but not having, profit motive in the management of the facility.
Well, and it's interesting, David and Bill, because when I ask nursing home operators or stakeholders about the business of public versus private, the one thing they say is that if you go public, there will never be another facility built. So it seems like this type of a model could address that, Bill.
Yes, it could. This model, in some places, is called the P3 model, has worked in other industries, but is certainly worth looking at in this case.
Is that protection level?
If we really think that
no, because in jail I'm a P3, which means completely segregated from everybody.
And done
not allowed near
better
anything.
than it's being now.
5 guards at the door when they open it.
Will still give us the issues around running the organization and running it properly.
And it's interesting, David. At the same time, just before this was released, Mayor John Tory was talking about a report on the 10 municipally run homes, which did a lot better. And he talked about extra.
I believe my grandfather was taken care of quite well in the public home.
And in the second breath, he talked about whatever deficits or overruns or whatever they experienced. So, part of it is the willingness, but it's a money issue.
It is a money issue, but I think it also goes back to an organizational issue. Do you have a coherent point of view and strategy for what this sector even looks like? What it's going to take, who's in it, who ages in place, what new techniques are to run the system better. We could do a whole show on this at some point, because the Morocco Commission did have several pages about the butterfly system and different ways of providing better care within these homes and the need for some innovative thinking. It really touched on a lot of areas. But you need to have a commitment. And I think, unfortunately for Fullerton, and unfortunately, devastatingly for the seniors that were in these homes, this was an afterthought. This was an optics. Let's spin up the ministry to show how much we care. But then when the you-know-what hits the fan, they're not at the table. The Ministry of Health is calling the shots. The Chief Public Health Officer is calling the shots. And long-term care ministry is too weak to really be taken seriously until it's a massive disaster, at which point they have no choice. And we see what happens as a result of that.
Do you think, either of you, how do you think the government is taking this? I mean, the strategy, at one point I heard Minister Marilee Fullerton talking about the narrative that's coming out. And again, sticking to the fact that these are long-term problems, but surely they understand that, they are going to wear some of this. They've got to, I think.
Well, you would think that they would, but and coming back and relating that to the caller's statement, the difference between who sets policy and who's actually managing. The Auditor General's report recommended that the Ministry of Long-Term Care include hiring criteria for the ministry. In other words, strongly suggesting that there wasn't good staff being hired for the ministry. And the response from the government was hiring decisions or senior executives come under the government leadership. In other words, you can't do anything. You can't do anything about it. That's not your area. Well, they're not willing to hire managers who could make the kinds of decisions that we're talking about, the kinds of changes that even the minister was talking about. Then it shows to me the government really doesn't have confidence or willingness to make these changes and follow through on these recommendations.
Okay, I'm going to take a call from Helen in Toronto. Hello, Helen.
Hi, Libby. I'm terrified that by putting people into the homes that have not been tested and might be carrying COVID, that what went on in my mother's home, and thank God she's still alive, is going to happen again. That they are putting these people at risk by putting people in.
Well, yeah, what I took from that decision, which came last week, was that they will make, quote, every effort to make sure that people transferred into nursing homes are vaccinated, but that's not a guarantee. And in a lot of these homes have significant percentages of staff who are not vaccinated by their own choice. David?
Well, it's true, and I think that the caller is right to be worried because make every effort. I mean, that reminds me of another thing, going back to the commission report, the infamous directive number 3, where the chief medical officer decreed that staff should only work at one home wherever practicable, wherever possible, quote unquote, and that wording was self-defeating according to the commission. It was vague, it was contradictory, nobody followed it anyway, and this looks like another example, wherever we'll make every effort. What does that even mean? I mean, don't you know if someone's been vaccinated? They either have or they haven't. They've got their little slip that they've been vaccinated or they don't. How can you move them into a long-term care home if you don't know that they're
because you don't have any business telling them they have to get a shot.
This is just another example.
You can't do that to anybody ever. No one's allowed to put anything inside you don't want inside you, period.
They definitely are, and that was their
That's basically why Canada went to Afghanistan, remember?
The first wave. I mean,
exactly.
It's interesting. There's also this whole aspect about, you were talking that long-term care wasn't even at the table of integrating it into the healthcare system, and I think the idea is that actually will happen with these Ontario health teams. But I also think that it's happening to a greater extent in some areas than in others. I mean, in terms of infection control, I know that University Health Network in downtown Toronto was very effective in helping some long-term care homes with that, but other areas, not so much.
My feeling is that political speak for, yeah, maybe.
Okay, thanks for your call, Helen.
Yes, true.
So do you see a change in that, at least with the advent of these health teams?
Well, the report, one of the recommendations in the commission's report was that long-term care homes must have an established relationship with the broader healthcare system, particularly hospitals. I mean, they identified that as being a huge issue, that there's not a solid relationship between the local hospital and the local long-term care facility, and that's one of the reasons that they said that we have to have the problems. And so exactly what you were talking about.
They also said that the long-term care homes must pass an inspection on IPAC and post the results and post its IPAC readiness and strategy, or facts and figures about what it's doing on IPAC on its website, so that it's available to be scrutinized at all times. On a good news, I suppose, part of this, there are examples throughout the healthcare system, and the report, by the way, was just lavish and rightly so in praising the healthcare workers, the poor people that were stuck with this mess. But there were also some examples of local public health officers, not waiting for the ministry, not waiting for the head office, as it were, but going out and doing things on their own. Kingston, for example, he checked in with news about what was going on in China and overseas, and had his own food inspectors go into long-term care homes to make sure that their infection prevention was up to scratch. He didn't wait for the quote-unquote head office. So there are examples. If she wants to learn from what went right, there are examples throughout the system of people who really took strong positive action, and I got some consolation from that, even though the head office was terrible. Out in the field, there were many examples of really strong, effective action being taken.
Well, and then there's this whole business about inspection. We know the Ford government canceled the regular inspections, only responded to complaints during the first wave. People called in their inspections, which boggles my mind. And there's no enforcement, even if there are violations cited. What does the report have to say about that?
Well, the law, it says that the long-term care inspection enforcement regime did not adequately address long-standing compliance issues. A clear and consistent applied, monitored and enforced regime. And the minister spoke about that today in her press conference. She promised change, but no specifics, and it sounded like no immediate action was currently underway. This was just something she was agreeing should be done in the future. And before you even get that started, to be done now. They don't even have close to enough inspectors who are trained in what to look for. There were inspectors that testified to this commission that said we're only allowed to go in there in response to a complaint. We're only allowed to look at that exact complaint, and we don't even know how to evaluate, because you need special training, specialized training in how to evaluate what you're seeing in terms of infection prevention and control. And I think they have 3 inspectors in the entire system that are trained in this so far. So it's grossly inadequate before you even start.
Okay, we're running out of time. David, what do you think? Is this going to just be added to the library of reports that have been ignored, or is this going to lead to something?
Well, we hope so. I can tell you that at CARP we are working on a presentation, an entire book. We're not just letting our petition be a number. We're going to be presenting to the Premier all the names that signed and a selection of over 2,000 comments we got. We're going to be sending it to every single member of Queen's Park, and we intend to make it a major issue at the next election. And I think we have to keep the pressure on to tell them this is not going to be forgotten. This is hot and heavy and current, and it better be fixed.
Okay, that is all the time we have. This is an ongoing issue. I look forward to the day when things are fixed. If things are ever going to be fixed, we don't have to talk about it so often. In the meantime, thank you so much, Bill Van Gorder, Interim Chief Policy Officer at CARP, and David Kravitz, Chief Membership Officer at CARP. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, Libby. Thanks, Libby.
Okay, we are going to take a break, and when we return, we are going to talk about vaccines and trying to tackle a question that a lot of people have. Can you change them up? Can you get a second dose with a vaccine that is different from your first vaccine, something that people are thinking about because of supply shortages?
Canada still has
that
a
is the other big story in Canada today
over potential quality concerns.
The Blue Jays streak into Oakland. The Maple Leafs try to keep winning in Montreal. Sports at 45.
We've still got triple-digit gains on the TSX and the Dow. Now, Bay Street is getting a lift from the gold stocks today, while the marijuana stocks are await. The details in business at 56.
680 News Time, 12:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones.
Come back. Sheba Siddiqui will join me to talk about some of the top stories in the news, and then we're going to talk about the Laurentian University and whether or not the province should move in and bail it out. My name is Alan Carter. This is Global News Radio.
Warmer days are on the way, and it's time for the beat the summer rush and get $1,200 off. Select air conditioner. We're always. Supply savings off the regular price. See website for details. Star reviews. So don't wait. Call today because it's a great time to beat the summer rush and get $1,200 off a select air conditioner for a great deal now. Conditions apply. Savings off a regular price. See what.
I don't know if they're going to do something at 1 o'clock or not, but I'm going to gamble that it makes more sense that we're not going to get anything useful over the lunch hour because that's when all the working class people might be in the break room. You know, they don't spend money on entertaining the workers. They just throw a cheap old stereo and put either talk radio or news on. You know? No, it's got to be a cheap stereo so they won't listen to music on it. They're like, oh, it sounds bad. Just put it on talk radio. So right about now, all those people, the working class people, might be on their break at the bicycle factory or whatever the fuck. So I don't think they're going to give us anything useful. They may or may not do their news release thing at 1 o'clock. I guess we're going to find out. So I'm going to prepare for that. If I get high enough, I can actually laugh at this shit. There's an African president who says he gives his guards, his bodyguards, the presidential guards, I think they use the term cannabis in the article. It was some African publication, but they have a website. He said because it makes them indefatigable thugs. You're trying to assassinate this guy, you're going to have to get super fucking high to outthink his guards.
Twin hammers look like the Siamese. I got that beam from the Japanese. My French girl wave, you can remind them, make a mac and cheese. Like I'm the last of a dying breed. Twin hammers look like the Siamese. I got that beam from the Japanese. My French girl wave, you can remind them, make a mac and cheese. It is what it has to be. I'm killing out who's after me. They had to see me rich, and I swear it wasn't financially. Like who we frontin' for? They fly on like there's a trampoline. These bitches couldn't marry a guy. It wasn't Magdalene. My shop like a little bro with tag-along. It's these instrumentals we got with bragging on. It's rose with beer bro class bridges we drag them on. The nigga with the gate and Sega was they were dragging on. The Megatron landing in Lebanon. We were slapping it back and forth like a tetherball. Used to live on French Street, right in the Esplanade. Bitches run the ship and make us film it like espionage. You know that's why they set for it. Like why you niggas ain't protect your neck for it? Chopping in shit so we win. Like connect for the cylinder, always a spin. I connect for it right into your dome when I get it out the chest to draw rapper. When you go on tour, it's all music. Maybe when we go on tour, it's all shootings. Like other shots got kicked, I gotta shoot it. Nigga, if you talk that talk, you gotta do it. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down breed. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down breed. Like he just wanna go on tour and make music. But every time you go on tours, it's all shootings. The last of a dying yeah, I'm the last of a dying breed. I uppercut these fucks in the chin and they fly with ease. I bleed what I have to bleed. This blood's what I have to see. So big, go sit with your fam. I call it Applebee's. Who the fuck trying to get stuck? Tell them ask for me. That match pack about to get struck. I brought the gasoline. I've never lost. I got OGs to get it back for me. Call me down, calm with the crowd. Call me your majesty, God. They try to handle me, Lord. No, I don't play that. The bullets in that gray Mac A-track. They go way back. About them up, top your mom. Look where the safe at. With numbers on your head, you already covered in face tats, boy. Why they always trying to snake that, boy? Charlie got the defibrillator to shake that, boy. Forget about it, you turn me to Rocky ASAP, boy. I'm the last of a dying breed and wanna break that, boy. Like, you bringing all that beef to the farm, my man's branded you. If you don't get respect in the streets, I can't stand with you. They tell you you a threat on the beat, your man's scamming you. The Benz is like a beast when it spins. Crash Bandicoot, pull up with a camera crew. Cannons in your face now. down. Anybody that's liking to us is liking face down. White boy, nice with a pen. This ain't no 8 Mile. We playing hopscotch in the spots where the body's traced out. Cause when you go on tour, it's all music. And baby, when we go on tour, it's just shootings. Drive-bys, your eyes wide shut, we gone Kubrick. See, we ain't really battle that talk, we just do shit. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down bridge. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down bridge. Like he just wanna go on tour and make music. I'm the last of a down bridge. And every time you go on tours, it's all shootings. I'm the last of a down bridge.
So to put it in perspective, there's a white woman out front when Chomo was talking his bullshit to me, and I don't know how to put it. I don't know if she's from the hood, or she doesn't act like she's from the hood, but she doesn't act like she's better than the hood or whatever. So she tries to talk nice about people and focus on nice things. Well, this guy's going, oh, nice boots. Did you get them out the garbage where you live? And this woman knows I'm just going around cleaning garbage and stuff, wearing an orange jumpsuit. Just think in her head what she's going to think of him for, like, what's he picking on me for? For picking up the garbage while other people are throwing it? She like if you were to say something about people throwing masks on the ground, she would agree people are being filthy. You know, that type of person. So just think of what that impression he's leaving on the neighbors. Complete waste of oxygen, this person. Oh, you want to see? Yeah, I tore them all to shit. And so you can tell I'm right-handed because there's nothing wrong with this one. Same with my Timberlands. The left boot is in perfect condition. I think I'll take a couple quick video shots when I'm out today, if I go out today. 3 calls. I've been ignoring it. Oh, 011. That's 11 phone numbers, 11 digits. 01154. These are not real phone numbers, eh? Like, I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be. Yeah, keep it up, Chomo. We know you gonna fuck with us every time. We know. Brooklyn in the back. Jesus Christ, can we skip that, please? It's one thing after another in this bitch, eh? You'll notice.
I'm riding around the city with a stick and sticky.
Holy fuck, man. So you'll notice when I'm busy is when my computer gets fucked up. But you'll also notice there's no connection between this and my fucking computer. There's none. Jesus fucking Christ. These waste man's gonna hack everything because they're so smart. But I challenge you to take that software off your fucking phone. So whatever the fuck that is.
No complaining, speeding, rushing, blowing trouble.
Brand new robotics, so we make a big punch. Big clothes, must shut them down. It's the remix. Shut it from the crack, shit, be nice. Money ain't a thing. This is my block now. We got it shut down.
How do you think these Zoomers would react if they tuned into their radio station and heard this? Shut them down, shut them down.
The whole shit locked down. No, we ain't the
big shot money got us one.
This is it now. You get shut down.
Free flowers and buy. Police top one. Niggas better stop dying. Catch a hot one. I'm like the top gun. Mohawk shit. Rock my hat back. As long as you fuck with Onyx, then you safe in Iraq. I like to jump up. All of my niggas, we tear the club up. From Iraq to Baltimore. We do a song, keep the shit fucking ghetto like a.
Those are movies. What is this? I don't remember this. I'll just get on my playlist. I could get down with it, just not right now. There's a few in here I probably can't get away with playing, but I'm not sure, so I'm just gonna skip it.
I wake up some mornings like walk the world, yeah, walk the world, man, walk the world, man, I'm fingers in the air, my niggas don't care, walk the world, yeah, walk the world, I'm twisty, never recession.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I wake up some mornings like walk the world, yeah, walk the world, man, walk the world, man, I'm fingers in the air, my niggas don't care, walk the world, yeah, walk the world. I wake up some mornings like walk the world, yeah, walk the world, man, walk the world, man, I'm fingers in the air, my niggas don't care, walk the world, yeah, walk the world. Got my middle fingers up and I'm aiming in your butt, you suckers getting caught up where you at, motherfuckers, I'm looking for you, I'm dreaming about you, I make it happen.
It's only a little blood, little rest out, don't get angry. I got to put the knife to take your fucking life. I got to put the knife to kill your fucking wife. The butcher knife gets fucking used when it will cook you. Take the butcher knife, bend over your backside and drip the water from.
I love the tune, but I think it'll be protected on here. I'm not sure. I know it's underground, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What's the night, yeah? There you go, flat like that. Walking up on you like an undercard.
Who is it? Well, it's Grand Pooba, honey. With my man, Stud Doogie Love. Dropping 2,000. Dig the way this go down. Check it. I hit a flow off, dipped in love, shit back and shit mo as I count my dough. Grand Pooba Maxwell, Doogie, coming with the New York. We keep it real like jail when we might talk. Honeys know cause when I'm in that set, Grand Pooba is the one who makes they stink box wet. So let me tell you something, lady, when your flow this flow, then it's all cream and baby. I made this one for the brothers in the party, to find a hearty and dance body, the body step one.
So people have this view that there's like an artificial barrier between, like, it's not white kids and black kids, but like, let's say punk and rock music and rap music. There's not. There's a punk band out right now. The reference in their name, Stinkbox. Never mind.
You grab honey by the waist, step 2. Then you move out of ghetto face, step 3. Then you look a dead in the face, step 4. Now it's time to lead this place. Hold up, be careful of the teasers, the one who wants the money and the visas. I'ma tell honey straight off the back, so please don't even go there with that. Dig it. This was designed to make the spine in your back whine. Grand Pooba, nice setup for you every time. And you say New York City. And you say New York City. And you say New York City. And you say, could it be I stayed away too long? Thief MCs be wishing I was gone. Because they wanna be where I
Motorcycle clubs,
but
which one, bro?
Far, so stop wishing on the star. It's only one Grand Prix, so honey, do what you did on the night you creep with me. It's no doubt I come here with that, the butter trap, the one that makes honeys hit the bed mat. I'm energetic, poetic, athletic, with good credit, so just move like I'm Simon and I said it. You see, my flow is just a step ahead. I'm still wicked in the bed because I'm downright nasty like newlywed. So back up and let me breathe, cause when it comes to getting down, I'm getting looser than a crackhead's hair weed. And I let your mind down, leave while you never find a style like this if you search a million miles. So once you let move by night, y'all party. I hit a flow like out. See, I've been doing this for years. I'm leaving them tears. Cheers. Dig it. Cause they falling just like the rain.
Right around the can of gasoline, and you're not much of a street
go diggers who try to get it. I left them backwards. They thought they farted when they shit it. Cause food does everything. And everything is cool. Cause I hit them with a 1 and then with a 2. Yeah, cause that's just how Grand Pooh and Stud Doogie do. You didn't know I was the bomb, baby. Somebody should have told you. Somebody should have told you. Yeah. you say New York City, no doubt. And you say New York City, and you say, cause we get down for ours, we get down, no doubt. Down for ours, we get down, no doubt. Down for ours, we get down, no doubt. Down for ours, we get down. Cause we get down for ours, we get down, no doubt. Down for ours, we get down, no doubt. Down for ours, we get down, no doubt. 95 Blade, and I'm out.
So they can now transfer you out of the hospital without your consent. They can transfer you to a long-term care home you don't want to go to. They can transfer you by air ambulance, except the air ambulance is going on strike. Oh yeah, you're going to see, I said 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, you're going to see a lot more private ambulances around because we have them in Toronto. We have them in Ontario. Typically, it'll be like a Toronto EMS ambulance that picks you up. But if you go to a party or a club, there's rules about they have to have a certain number of police. I think it's 2 police officers and 1 ambulance for every 1,000 people, something to that effect. The exact numbers don't matter because I don't run a club. You're not allowed to go to a club, but these ambulance companies exist. And one of the things they do is transporting people from a hospital to a long-term care home, for example. Let's see what else happened. Oh yeah, they released their report on Friday. They're completely trying to disclaim responsibility. Yo, I'm having first world sense of righteous indignation. Let's see if I can line this up. Well, you can see that there's little tiny brown specks on my stainless steel TV set. Yeah, it's stainless steel. How do you stain that? That wasn't there yesterday. I would have seen it. Just a little bit of first world righteous self-righteous indignation. I didn't pay for the TV set. What the fuck do I care? Right? But motherfucker. I don't know what it is. Mouse shit is like small and cylindrical and hard, like dry. Whatever that is, I don't know what that is. Did I throw my coffee in? No, because if someone else came in here, they'd be like, oh, it's all right. What's that brown shit on your TV? Fuck, man, I don't even fucking know. It's too big to be cockroach shit.
What's your count, nigga? What's your count, nigga? What's your count, nigga? What's your count, nigga?
Please don't strike my account. I love you.
I'm about making money, nigga, fuck friends. I ain't messing with these suckers, I'm like, fuck them. I never talk, never speak, never trust them. Me and my toolie walk together, finna done them. Okay, I run them, my toolie always down. I'm from Toronto where the hearts and the money brown. We fucking up if you selling them outside of town. My city with me and we finna get it by the pound. I gotta go by the gallon when I'm selling shit. These foolies hating, but my attitude is celibate. I misbehave it, I'm like, fuck it, bitch, I'm getting rich. If you broke, just get a bag and get yourself a brick. Click, clack, bang, I'm doing my thing. It's just me and my toolie making your bitch sing. Click, clack, bang, I'm doing my thing. It's just me and my toolie making your bitch sing. It's just me and my toolie. 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 If you ain't moving right, you gon' get left. I ain't tolerating hoes, they gon' get checked. Toolie make sure the youngin' never get stressed. I'm a queen, bitch, ain't nothing to get next. They ain't capable of doing what the queen do. These sluts living fake lives while I being true. But you gon' lie till you die is what the thing do. All my family is G's, this the real crew. I've been a thug since birth, I done been through worse. So if I ain't the best, nigga, fuck your turf. Got the toolie in my pants, toolie in my shirt. Now if you with this shit, someone gon' get hurt. Click, clack, bang, I'm doing my thing. It's just me and my toolie making your bitch shine. Click, clack, bang, I'm doing my thing. It's just me and my toolie making your bitch shine. It's just me and my toolie. 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 Me and my toolie, bitch, it's just me and my toolie. Me and my toolie, bitch, it's just me and my toolie. Fuck little bitch.
It's honey cocaine.
Goddamn, I feel like Peter Pan, floating off a sand, I don't think they understand. I come from the land where they sit on cars, burned a couple woods, now I'm chilling in the stars. Switch the flow up, hop over to Mars, I got bars. This shit is overwhelming, roll a cookie in the wood, got the whole room smelling. You better keep it pushing or I might just crack your melon. Ay, I be posted, I be coolin', come through, bitches drooling. But they ain't getting none, I be focused on the guap, I'm just trying to stack the buns. I'm just trying to get some huns. I'm just trying to stack them huns. I'm just trying to get some huns. I'm just trying to stack them huns. No stop, overload. Drop the first down, make a bitch booty roll on the couch, booty roll. When I pounce, I'ma make a bitch scream. When I eat her pussy out, when I eat her pussy out, when I make her booty bounce. By the way of my words and the way that I say them, I lay them bitches down and they screaming hella loud. I don't give a single fuck, I'm hella proud, smoking loud. I be posted, I be coolin', come through, bitches drooling.
Damn,
but they ain't getting none, I be focused on the guap, I'm just trying to stack the huns. I'm just trying to get some huns. I'm just trying to stack them huns. I'm just trying to get some huns. I'm just trying to stack them huns. Your bitch sippin' and drippin' when she come around. I fuck her all night and we smoking that loud. I drop her and pass her around to the crowd. It's funny cause you still be kissing that mouth. Hit you with the stick, yeah, you a little bitch, poppin' feel my shit, yeah, down to hit a lick, I ain't capping, I ain't lacking, you'll never catch me, it ain't never gonna happen. I be posted, I be coolin', come through, bitches drooling. But they ain't getting none, I be focused on the guap, I'm just trying to stack the huns. I'm just trying to get some huns. I'm just trying to stack the huns.
An hour a day. I sleep for an hour a day. Stick to my neighborhood.
I'm just trying to stack the huns.
Everybody in my neighborhood stuff the mask on, and I come back and I just.
She walks an hour a day, but she sticks to her own neighborhood.
My family feels it. I
Sounds like
feel
us.
it. Gives me more patience.
Sort of.
They don't hear me yelling as much.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. This weekend, again, I went out and played a little basketball, which is, my way of civil disobedience, because you're not allowed to do that. You're not supposed to.
Oh.
Right? This is my middle finger at the regulations.
These are old people. They don't give a fuck.
I'm going to go and look ridiculous.
They'll keep it politically correct, but they don't give a fuck what you think of them.
Playing, there's a couple of hoops behind the local school, right? And there's these pair of moms. I've seen them before. And there's two moms, and they just walk around the school. Just around the school. They don't go anywhere else. And as I'm there playing basketball, they must have done like 20 laps just around the school. I guess maybe that's just to stay close to home. Like, you never go too far away.
It keeps the junkies and assholes from hanging out there.
Just do anything you can to get up.
It does.
And how happy did you see the smiles on their faces? And it's therapy, because you're with your friend, you're offloading your problems, and then you come home, and it's like you've been to a therapist. and a marathon, both 2 and 1.
Both of them are talking full bore every time when they go past. I don't know. I don't think either of them are listening to the other one. They're just both talking.
They're on Bluetooth talking to their other friends.
This is terrible. And then every once in a while they look over at me and like, who's the sad dad over there trying to play some basketball? Man, that guy sucks. All right. Thank you, Sheba. Listen, everybody, do what you can do. Just do whatever you can do to make yourself feel better. Give yourself a break because we're still in this for a stretch. I was talking to Sheba a little earlier about the news that came out of New York City. May 19th, New York City will lift almost all capacity restrictions. Oh, my goodness. We are a lot further away from something like that here in Canada. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Alan Carter. Thank you again. Please be well. Join me tonight on television at 5:30 with my Calling for Far announcer. And I'm back here again on the radio again tomorrow at noon. Talk soon.
What do you guys think of Tim's new...
Oh, that's Toxic Sporty. My bad. That wasn't
soccer and baseball.
But they know that at this hour they're up against Zoomer Radio.
That is going to start to take a bit of a bite out of trade or net trade. So I think the Bank of Canada needs to tread carefully. And I think, we need to remind ourselves that back in 2010, literally a year after we had our recession after the great financial crisis.
We heard this motherfucker
The Bank of Canada did the same thing. It was first out of the gates in terms of tightening, and we know what happened. The bank had to pull back. So I think if the bank goes too soon here, we may be repeating a mistake that we made back after that episode.
Now on Wall Street, the Dow has been trading above its all-time closing high. Right now it's up by 285, the S&P up by 13, and the NASDAQ down 62. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
I'm Jennifer from Richmond. What did it feel like when I won $250,000 with OLG on Instant Bingo? 3, 2...
Looks like she's doing it over the phone.
Just like that.
Winning with OLG brings out all the feels. Play today at olg.ca. Imagine doing what you love and not doing what you don't love. AGMinnovations.com. AGM is hiring renovators. If you're a renovator with your own business who loves renovating more than business, managing construction more than managing papers, and wants more time with family, call AGM. AGMinnovations.com. Imagine you're self-employed with consistent work. Do it.
Taking a look at some regional weather conditions in Brampton right now. It's cloudy and 12. Hamilton, light rain, 9 degrees there. Newmarket, partly cloudy, 13 degrees. And right now in downtown Toronto, it's mostly cloudy at 11. This is CFTR 680 News. It's 1 o'clock.
Toronto's number one for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News.
Good afternoon. It's Monday, the 3rd of May. I'm Steve Roberts.
And I'm Sarah Paris. Here's what's making news this hour.
The Minister of Long-Term Care does not issue an apology and once again sidesteps some of the responsibility in response to a scathing report that says governments neglected long-term care.
Ontario is reporting fewer than 3,500 new COVID-19 cases.
Oh, you've got other fucking fires in
more
that.
people in hotspots now eligible to book a vaccine appointment.
The Federal Advisory Committee on Vaccines will announce its recommendations for the Johnson & Johnson shot today.
But that's
However,
not a real story,
distribution of the
damn it.
single-dose vaccine remains on hold.
How much coffee is too much coffee? Well, a new study says 5 cups a day is the optimal amount to improve performance. We're speaking with a dietitian who says that might not be for everyone, though.
The Leafs play the next 3 against the Habs beginning tonight, and the Blue Jays open a 4-gamer in Oakland, sports at 15.
A mostly winning start to the week on both sides.
Ooh, it's on PubMed.
Buffett names his
It's on
likely
PubMed. I
successor,
found it.
and there is a Canadian connection.
Business at 26.
25 people. I thought it was 30.
All right, now time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by the Gardner.
The worst and deadliest
right
fire
in
Mississauga's history.
Westbound. We have this issue just west of Avenue Road in the Express. The two right lanes are blocked because of a collision, so only the left lane is open to traffic, and it is jammed on the westbound 401 from just west of Leslie in the Express, and now heavy from Bayview in the collectors to west of Avenue.
What's happening?
Eastbound on the 401, they're not spotting any delays, but there is a problem in Whitby. The ramp to Fixon, that's still closed off because of a collision. It happened just before the noon hour, but it's serious in nature, so they've closed off that ramp.
TorontoPublicLibrary.ca, report by Interministerial Committee on the recommendations. Thank you.
The right lane is closed for construction, so it's busy southbound 427 from Dundas in the Express onto the QEW ramp. The QEW, though, is moving well in both directions. No delays on the Gardner, but just to keep this in mind, eastbound Gardner, at the end of the ramp to Jarvis, you cannot turn left. And that is because of construction. All lanes of northbound Jarvis are closed from Queens Quay to the Esplanade. Hire the Gardner and keep your yard looking Zoom call picture perfect all season. Look at all the things the Gardner can do for your yard at hirethegardner.com. That's hirethegardner.com. And now with the forecast, here's Jill Taylor. Not much of a change in the temperature from where it is right now. Cloudy, windy, periods of light rain. The guaranteed high 11 degrees. More showers tonight near 8. For today, the guaranteed high 11. Right now in downtown Toronto, it's mostly cloudy and 11 degrees. 680 News Time, 103.
The province's long-term care minister was in the spotlight today, albeit briefly. She was responding to that report by the Long-Term Care Commission, which shows the Ford government, among others, managed the sector prior to and during the pandemic.
It was a pretty short news conference as the minister headed out to question period, leaving behind many reporter questions.
Reference only, not holdable.
Momin Qureshi is following this and joins us live with more details. Momin.
So this is the first time we're hearing from Dr. Marilee Fullerton, the Minister of Long-Term Care, since that report was released.
It's in the fucking reference library. That's interesting, because that's also where I found out what my name meant in Dutch.
Long-term care, particularly in this pandemic, leading to all those deaths and the horrible situation there. Now, Fullerton saying that her government hears you and will do right, saying that they will address the issues that were listed in the report, saying that her government has invested a lot of money to try to increase staffing levels. But one thing we did not get is any sort of apology. Fullerton was asked directly whether her government will apology. And really, not only that, but she did also sidestep a lot of the responsibility.
I look back and I say, why did it take so long? So many years went by without addressing long-term care when we knew there was an aging population. And our government is addressing it. Our government is taking responsibility. It's our government that has a plan for this. After so many years of neglect by previous governments, why didn't they do anything? I can't answer for them.
Now, that type of line did not really jive with NDP leader Andrea Horwath, who asked Fullerton to step aside during question period.
It was the minister's job to protect seniors in long-term care. She failed. Will she do the right thing and resign?
Unsurprisingly, Fullerton did not resign and is staying on the job. And as you mentioned there, Fullerton only taking questions from 3 reporters before leaving for question period. Reporting live, I'm Momin Qureshi.
For younger people in more than 100 hotspots, mostly here in the GTA, can now start booking their COVID vaccine using the provincial portal. It comes as Ontario sees a case count below 4,000 for another day in a row. And 680's Irene Preckwood, of course, crunching all the numbers for us, joining us live now with some perspective. Irene?
Steve, 3,436 new cases today, the 9th day in a row with fewer than 4,000. This is more than 100 postal code hotspots open up vaccinations to those 18 and older. If you're booking, don't expect it to be a quick experience, about an hour wait or more on the provincial booking site. Dr. Jeff Wong is an infectious disease expert, tells BT vaccinating the hotspots should bring cases down as quickly as possible.
This is where the fire is burning the hottest, so that's where we want to direct our most resources as quickly as possible. So we want to try to get as many people vaccinated in the hotspots. And, it leads to a slight delay for other areas of the province, but it's only by a couple of weeks.
just under 54,000 vaccinations in the latest daily total. That is one of the lowest numbers we've seen in some time. Now, for the second day in a row, though, hospitalizations and ICU admissions are down. 1,925 people in hospital with COVID, 889 of those in the ICU. Reporting live, Irene Precklett, 680 News. And North York General Hospital is running a mobile vaccination clinic for the M2M and M2R neighborhoods. It's at the Newtonbrook High School and is drop-in only. The hospital says it still has 2,400 appointments available. The clinic runs today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. It's first dose only, and you have to prove your address.
Well, to Ottawa now, where the problem.
Oh, now we're going to get into people trying to sneak their second dose.
Johnson & Johnson vaccine today, as distribution of the shot is still on hold. With details here, 680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney.
We still don't know when provinces will get access to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, but in the meantime, the National Advisory Committee on Immunization will release its guidance. It's not clear if NACI will recommend stricter age limits like it has for the AstraZeneca vaccine, given both have been possibly linked to a very rare form of blood clot. Health Canada has approved both shots for all adults, and provinces are not bound by NACI's advice. Health Canada has paused distribution of 300,000 Johnson & Johnson doses. This is due to quality control concerns since they came from a U.S. plant that's made mistakes, which forced the destruction of millions of doses. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh has full confidence in the regulator to ensure the safety of our vaccine supply.
I've got in mind, encourage everybody to get the vaccine as soon as possible, whatever one is available.
Pfizer is delivering 2 million doses a week, and Moderna is sending 1 million next week. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time, 107. Happening now, hundreds of customers are dealing with a power outage in North York. Toronto Hydro says a tree fell onto some wires at Bayview and Steeles and broke a hydro pole around 9
There's a tree at Bayview and Steeles?
The outage boundaries are now from Steeles to Cummer and Conacher Drive to Leslie. The estimated time of restoration is now 6:45 tonight.
You're listening to 680 News. A 28-year-old man is in hospital after a shooting in Etobicoke today.
Oh, yeah, that happened
to the Lakeshore and BROWNSLINE area around 8:30 this morning. And
It just started early.
Duty Inspector Michael Williams says the passenger in the suspect vehicle fired at the victim's vehicle.
This appears to be a targeted incident. It appears that these two vehicles are one of the vehicles that possibly followed the other into this area.
Police are looking for a black hatchback with 2 occupants that fled westbound on Lakeshore.
Well, an Alberta judge is rejecting a request by Super Channel's parent company. We get details from 680 business editor Chris McCusker.
Largo Entertainment was asking the courts to block 4 Canadian retailers from selling set-top boxes, which allegedly allow for illegal access to its programming offerings. The Edmonton company was also asking Alberta's court to issue an order against an unknown number of unidentified customers, as well as unidentified equipment suppliers. Now, in a 33-page ruling on Friday, the judge rejected the request by saying Super Channel failed to provide any legal justification for preventing the retailers from selling this type of device. The judge also says the company did not prove it lost subscribers because of the device. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
This is 680 News.
If you're driving less these days, I've got good news and bad news. Good news, you're saving on gas. Bad news, a vehicle that sits may develop issues. Good news, the All-In Spring event has you covered. Receive a free...
Questions about accountability and what is going on, if anything, when it comes to improving long-term care in the province. We're going to have much more.
My phone is locking up every 2 seconds.
Coming up this
They
afternoon.
really don't like me doing what I'm doing, I guess.
But first, the province reporting just over 3,400 new COVID cases today as the eligibility for vaccines in hot spots. That is increased starting today to those over 18. But with this increased eligibility, is that being matched by access to the vaccine? Well, no, says Ontario pharmacists, and apparently frustration is growing over the pharmacy vaccination program. And for more on that, we're joined now by Sandra Hanna, who's the CEO of the Neighborhood Pharmacy Association, and she joins us once again here on 640 Toronto. Sandra, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me again.
Well, nice to have you back. Pharmacies, they want to play a bigger role when it comes to the vaccine rollout. Can you give us just first off an idea as to what's currently happening with pharmacies and vaccinations and what you're actually capable of?
Absolutely. So there are 4,600 pharmacies in Ontario. About 3,200 of those routinely administer vaccines every year for the flu shot and other vaccines. About 3,200 of those routinely administer. Currently, in the COVID vaccination program, we have 1,400 pharmacies enrolled to administer the vaccine, and about another 1,000 or so in queue to receive vaccine. Challenge right now is that we just don't have the supply to meet the number of pharmacies that are ready and willing and able to administer the vaccine. To date, pharmacies have only had access to the AstraZeneca vaccine, which, as you know, is currently limited in Ontario to 40 plus. NACI has just confirmed the safety for younger individuals, 30 plus. So we're urging Ontario to lower the age band so that we can open up access to that vaccine to more Ontarians. And in addition, as you mentioned, the province has increased eligibility in hotspots for people 18 plus. So at the moment, pharmacies with the current vaccines that they have in pharmacies, AstraZeneca, can't really help support that increased eligibility band.
In Gardner, at the end of the ramp to Jarvis, you will not be able to turn left, and that is because of construction. All northbound lanes of Jarvis are closed. Scheduled until November.
The 90-year-old water main or some shit, 91-year-old.
In both directions over the 401. That's long-term construction as well.
I think I'm joking when I say the infrastructure is that fucking old.
No,
they don't know where it all is either.
Knocked down some wires and then knocked out the power. So we still have the power outage in the Bayview and Steeles area. You might find some traffic lights out. The rest of the drive, though, the Gardner looks good into and out of the city. No problems on the QEW. Just a bit of construction southbound 427 on the ramp to the QEW. The right lane is closed, so it's busy from Dundas Express. For all your personal and corporate tax accounting needs, call Mark Feldstein and Associates, Chartered Professional Accountants. Visit markfeldstein.ca, markfeldstein.ca. And now with the forecast, here's Jill Taylor.
Periods of light rain for us today and a gusty northeast wind, the guaranteed high 11 degrees. More showers tonight near 8 and showers tomorrow 14 degrees. Wednesday will feature some showers in the morning, mainly cloudy, may even get some sunny breaks. The high, though, just 11 degrees. That's our guaranteed high today, 11. Right now in downtown Toronto, it is 11 degrees, a mostly cloudy sky at Pearson Airport. Some light rain now, and we're at 12 degrees. 680 News Time, 1:13.
Time now for the Dynamic Funds Market Minute. And for that, let's go to the Business Center and check in with Chris Mikowski. Chris?
Well, Steve, we've got arrows pointing in both directions on Bay and Wall Street. Only the NASDAQ in the red. Right now it's down 52. The S&P is higher by 14 points. And the Dow is up by 281. Now that's a little off its high for the day. It was trading above its all-time closing high. So we could see a record at the close for the Dow today. The TSX is up by 141, 19,249. And still the strongest sector is the gold sector. Gold itself up by $25, $17.92. Oil is higher by 67 cents.
I think the idea is just to make sure that we can pick up on any key learnings, any key things that we need to focus on and improve on or learn from through a limited pilot. We've seen it. It's really a proof of concept. We've seen the success of pharmacies administering and storing and handling and distributing the Pfizer vaccine in other provinces. So we've already picked up a lot of those learnings. The National Association, we've been able to share those with the government in Ontario to make sure that we are ready and we don't anticipate there will be any hiccups, but I think that it's important. And why we anticipate that this pilot will really ramp up pretty quickly. So we're starting with a really short pilot or demonstration or proof of concept, and then we do hope to see that expand really quickly.
Yes, and what is the advantage of having greater distribution through pharmacies, getting more pharmacies involved? How is this better than, say, some of our mass vaccination centers or clinics?
Well, I wouldn't say it's necessarily better. It's just an additional avenue. So pharmacies are in just about every community in the province, and people have longstanding relationships with their pharmacists. So I think part of it is having the opportunity to have a trusted provider who can have those conversations with the public. Some people have questions about vaccines, and most of those people, with conversation and with a few answers on key questions that a trusted healthcare provider can provide. So not only the accessibility and the convenience but also that trust, alongside the mass clinics, alongside primary care and physicians, is a huge opportunity for us to tap into so that we can try